So welcome all to the GGHL Western Playoff Preview and Trade Deadline Review podcast. And up first is the dominant, four-time? Soon to be four-time.
Three-time.
Stanley Cup champions, Colorado Avalanche.
There's a lot of quotes out there that suggest that a lot of people think that they're going to win the cup this year.
Let's see. I have them third in offense, sixth in defense, and first in net. Poikinen's been absurd this season overall. Like earlier in this year, I wasn't that high on the Avs. Maybe not. I mean, not that they weren't a good team or anything along those lines, but like I wasn't as scared of them, and I'm substantially more scared of them now post deadline.
Yes, Suomela was a fantastic pickup. I mean, the price was high, but that's what it costs to get a guy like Suomela, right? He's a fantastic 2C. He's like the perfect 2C.
34 points in 30 games.
Yeah, he's been great for us. Like, definitely. I mean, I always kind of like look at my centers at the start of the season and think it's like sometimes you're just like, I feel like I want to go out and get somebody to shore them up, and it's just like, don't worry about it. Like you don't need that answer now. You need the answer by the trade deadline. That's when, and so it's kind of like he's the piece that I was hoping Niederbach could be, but he wasn't. So I had to go out and get a better playmaking center, and yeah, he's fitting in perfectly.
Niederbach's always been one of those guys that looks better than he is. Like you always hoping this guy theoretically could put up like sevens as a 2C, right? But he never does. He just never ever does.
Well, those are the perfect fits for your 4C, right? Like you're getting 35 points out of 75 games and almost a 6.75 AVR for your 4C. That's pretty solid.
It's the Colorado model. I talked about it with the East with Florida. They're following basically the same model. Just be deep as fuck, right? You're incredibly deep. You have a star. Like you don't even need like unbelievable superstars. There's no Bedard, but like this team is deep. It's super deep.
Well, dare I say that you're almost better off with this than you were. What was it, your first or second cup when you had those guys? Like you had the star power in the top
first, six. Yeah.
Now you're like just super deep with three guys who are, top six capable. So
I think
great.
I think there's something, and like where and like sometimes you see it with like sort of championship teams, but it's like it's different when you're stimming. But it's like I stopped caring so much about like individual like players like peaking out in the regular season and putting up high totals. Like I just want everybody to be healthy and kind of like being like pretty dangerous, and like I don't care if it's one line that goes off one night and then another on another night, as long as like it's actually better in the playoffs if like they can't focus on any one line. They have to try to stop all four because one of them's going to go off, and usually it's more like two. So like that's kind of just stop worrying so much about someone putting up like 90 points and leading the league or something. It doesn't really matter anymore. It's more about just having a more balanced lineup that can't be stopped altogether.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no, like
and I'm seeing. Sorry, Mood, not to cut you off, but I'm seeing it like I see Angus's lineup is starting to look kind of similar, and I don't know how much of that is like intentional. And Florida is definitely one where it's like, looking at it yesterday, I was kind of like, okay, I could see how they're I mean, I don't know if it's emulating, but like it's kind of like I can see what I'm doing and I can see it in their lineup, and I would be making kind of similar decisions on how to like what the type of pieces to target and where to put them in the lineup, like at the deadline. And like I just feel like there's a direction that some of the best teams in the league are going to, which is like let's fill absolutely every hole with talent instead of like for some reason thinking like it's okay to have a fourth line that isn't really doing much for you.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the Grum model, right? Like I don't care about my fourth line. I'll pay some bum 750K
Right.
and just stack my top 9. Yeah, I mean that works in tactics leagues where you can set your fourth line to play, 8 minutes a game. But for
Hmm.
me, it's not so much about like replicating or taking someone's model. For me, it's just like, what can I make work, right? Like we talk about how value in a trade is not always in a vacuum because your cap isn't the same as someone else's.
Hmm.
You might be looking for term and low cap. Someone else might not care and pay for the stuff. Like, who would have thought I would go out and buy Ottinger with my first, right? Like that was not a need, but I said, fuck it. If I get a goalie injury, I'm covered with this.
Speaking of the goalies, I have the Avs at a 920 team save percentage. Second is the Sabres with a 911, 912.
What the
Jesus. I mean, it helps. Poikinen has been fantastic. He's been
Yeah,
very
and
good.
he's played really a ton. So
A
When
lot,
did he
but
hit franchise?
last year,
Yeah.
I think, right?
Last year.
Up until
Yeah, I
I
think-
decided to do
yeah.
my goalie metrics, I was going to have Poikinen as my number one heart choice, simply because of that. Like, that's such a high bar. Like, .08 for a goaltender difference between first and second. Like, for comparison,
Yeah.
912 is second, as I said. So, what, 904 would be another additional points, and that's, like, middle of the pack.
It helps for sure that while he hasn't played a crazy amount, Hamrack has been very solid as a backup. He's like a 907. He's been fine, like a perfectly serviceable backup. And if you look at a lot of the other teams where they have a franchise, like a really high-end goalie, Florida, for example, what is Eliasson getting right now, right? He's like an 890. He's been terrible. So a lot of these teams with a really good starter like Poikinen, they just run some idiot as a backup, and they're going to lose a lot of those games. Colorado hasn't, and they're on President's Trophy base, so...
Mm-hmm. And
Hamrack. Sorry, go ahead.
you have what, $5,000 in cap space?
Yeah.
Is it really that close?
It's real
Oh,
tight.
Yes.
hell yeah.
So Hamrack making 825K while doing what he's doing is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, and like this year he's been less of a factor, but last year when Poikinen was out for the first like 3, almost 4 months of the season, like Hamrack was great. He played 41 games last year. He was, 910, not a huge save percentage, but like that 2.26 goals against average, and he was 26, 7, and 6. So like just like really really good in a situation where we needed him to step up. I mean, I was shocked when Hamrack signed for the number he did. I find usually like goalies like him, they ask for like 1.8 in UFA and I really don't like to give more than $1 million to a backup. But I somehow got him, and he's gonna walk. I mean, I'd have to give him that 1.8 to keep him, and I don't want, like, for me, that's because I'm not going to stick with this team. That's a decision for somebody else to make, not me.
So that's a bit of a segue into one question I wanted to ask
Sure.
you. What is the deal when you trade teams? Are you going to set Colorado up for UFA, or are you going to, right? Do you have any advice for the person coming in behind you if you don't do that?
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I went through today. The last thing I wanted to do for Colorado, I had kind of like made offers that I thought were reasonable to re-sign a few players already, even before this decision was made. And some took them, and some didn't. And then I today I like just went in and like made qualifying offers to people, and like offered some of our prospects that were unsigned and are expiring, so like nobody's lost for no reason. But after that, I'm not planning. I'm not planning to touch the Avs like roster in terms of like making offers. The new GM, is there. I wrote him a 5-page memo on this team, and kind of like recommending, like, for example, like Turcotte's gonna. I don't think he's gonna sign. If he does, it'll be like he wants more than the $8 million that he's already getting, and I just don't think that really works with the cap space we have. So nor do I think it's necessarily worth it. But that's going to be his kind of like, he's pretty much set up so that's like the project of the summer is like replace Turcotte.
Cool.
And then like otherwise it's just like, yeah, get a new backup goalie, like depth roster players, and that, so, and he's, I kind of just made a short list of like these are the things you need to do at some point this summer. And yeah, as soon as I'm basically hands off of Colorado from this point on, in terms of like making
roster moves.
Yeah, roster moves that are like for the future. So and I started I started also like kind of just like looking at re-signing players in St. Louis and making like offers to prospects, and that kind of like roster maintenance that needs to happen, or else I'll be in trouble if I wait till like after playoffs. So that's kind of the transition.
You got Rem Decker on a $400K year increase, and JJ McCollum making a $1.4 million. That's worth it. Like, McCollum looks great.
Yeah, that one is probably like the riskiest in terms. I think like in terms of could it not end up being worth it? I mean, I think I like him. I like what he brings, but I don't know. Like some people would rather pay less, and he's going up to $2.4 million a year, and some people just don't believe in this guy. So anyway, it's like, I mean, that's their decision. I think that it's really, I don't know. It's a good number for him to be at, and he'll be solid there. I think I also Niederbach. I don't know if he'll like that. I don't think you have to go too much higher to keep him around, like maybe 1.5 mil to keep him around for a year. But like I'll let the new GM decide if that's a priority for him. I can't remember which.
For Turcotte.
Yeah, I mean, it may be fine in the short term. Like if there's nothing out there that really does, like in full, can't like actually fully replace Turcotte. Like you don't have to do that in UFA. You can see how it goes through the season and address it later in the season next year if you need to. So, and I'll let that happen. like let them make it his team. I mean, mostly it's set up, so there's not huge decisions to make. Sorry, go ahead.
Something I'm thoroughly impressed by is that Cal McCarr at 37 still has 19 and 19 speed acceleration. Yeah. Like, how at 39 does he still have those as his physicals?
I can't wait to see.
Or 37, my mistake, whatever.
I think this team has 2 more years beyond this, where like, I mean, like as long as Cale Makar doesn't fall off a cliff, like all the best players are signed at a number that is like that works, and like that they'll still be at the top of their game, and then after that they'll have to decide what their priorities. But I think the core of this team is pretty much signed for 2 full more years that they can make runs. So I mean, I think I'm glad that like actually it was like I've been kind of half hoping I lose like going into a couple of years just so I could, because I wanted to just like turn it around, but I was also waiting for kind of like an ideal situation, like a new team to pick up that I was kind of excited about. And I mean, I'm kind of motivated to like turn this team, St. Louis, into a winner. It's going to be like hard. It's not, but it's also like Logan did a good job of at least like accumulating assets in terms of draft picks. So that work is kind of done. So yeah, I think it's like a good time. I also like see. Like SHA was a league I think some of the people that are in this conversation have been in, and like guy won 7 straight championship and like sucked the life out of the whole league. I don't want to do that, like I want to try. I want this league to keep going. It's been fun, and like there's part of me that's like ambitious and wants to just keep going for it every year, but I also don't want the league, like the interest we have, which is high in the league, to like get sucked dry by like just like it getting tiring to see the same team win every time. So anyway, like we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm kind of excited for it to get started, to get to like actually like pick in the first round again. Yeah, yeah.
I can highly respect and appreciate your ambition. And I honestly think that it builds right to the league legacy when you like if you were to win 4 straight and keep going with Colorado, someone is going to just want to beat you, whether it's in the West or in the East. Teams will keep going for it. Interest will stay
Yeah.
there, but I like that that change up, and I'm excited to see what you do with St. Louis because
Cool.
that team's a dumpster fire.
We'll get to it. They
I'll
scorched
just
the
say
earth.
one last thing that I think that like this season and last season kind of like taught me about a little bit about this game is like I find that the subtle changes I make to my defense core make such a difference in terms of how we play. So like I don't know, like I think defense can be a little bit of an afterthought, but like I always like to have strong defenders, and that can be a challenge when you're like cap strapped. But like every time I like change, like I take one defender out and like say he's an offensive defenseman, and I put a defensive defenseman who's maybe better, but I can see I lose offensive efficiency, but my defensive numbers like improve like a little bit, like, and I like there's a give and take there. Like last year I was kind of I was kind of frustrated by my team through the year because I found they were very sluggish offensively, and eventually I started to realize like I just kind of like took too hard a turn into like defensive defenseman, and it really started to like affect my offensive efficiency. And it was okay because we were actually so strong defensively last year that we were winning games by less, but we were like we were very, very strong defensively, and it worked. But I think that's kind of something that people got to keep in mind when they like make those change. If they decide to like replace one offensive defenseman with a defensive defenseman, it's going to change a little bit the way your team plays. Like you have to like keep that in mind. Is that what you want? Do you want to sacrifice a little bit of offensive efficiency for defensive stability? Because that's kind of it's like the chess moves that you're making, but maybe we don't always realize like how much it's going to affect the whole thing. So I'm definitely paying way more attention to that this year, and in the way that I like have kind of changed up a little bit the defense, my defensive players there, trying to keep that in mind.
Okay.
So
sense.
going from the Kings of GGHL to the LA Kings.
Hey,
Great segue.
Right? Hey, I've been working on them. I got to get the Ron McLean down, you know?
The short kings of the GGHL. I can't
I
remember.
have-
Are you a short guy, Joe? I can't remember.
I'm like 5'9".
Okay, that's not too small.
my fellow short king. Thank you.
Same.
If it's under 6 feet, you're basically short. So
Scrubs.
Fuck you, Drew.
Scrubs. 6'1". Sorry. Alrighty. So, LA Kings. I have them in second in offense, first in defense. And get ready for this. Carter Hart is 15th in the league overall.
Hey.
yeah,
Wow.
he has.
Or goaltending's 15th in the league overall. Carter Hart himself is 17th or 16th in the league overall.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, his
Ouch.
physicals dropped this year. So,
14 agility, right?
They dropped
14
quite a
agility,
bit.
13
Yeah.
speed, and 12 stamina. All of it dropped.
12 stamina as a starting like workhorse goalie.
At
is
least
probably
he's
fighting with the ass.
expiring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But still, like, how do you fix that going forward?
I tried to fix it. I
I
couldn't.
know.
I was in on Rybakov, and then I couldn't get Shekel.
Yeah, the thing with the Kings is the time, at least for that, is running out just because of the lack of assets. The offense looks fucking fantastic on this
Right.
team. I love the forward group on the Kings. I think it's spectacular.
Yeah, I think you made the right move going for Panofimis instead of you probably didn't predict that you needed a goalie in July, right? So,
Yeah, Hart still had all of his physicals in July. So
yeah, so trading for Fimis makes sense, and I don't think you needed it, but why not? Like, that's how you stack your shit. You get your top, one of your middle six bumps down because you add a guy like that, and the team gets better as a whole. I think you can replace Hart. I think the goalie market is
Pretty
always
cheap,
deep.
right?
Yeah, like I gave up a lot what I did to get a bottom six stud two-way player and a starting goalie, a rental. So
yeah,
Ottinger is a UFA. Granted, 37, but he is a UFA.
and I'm basically having the same forward group next season,
Right.
and then
so
all I have to do is replace like 1 or 2 defensemen,
Right.
and then the goalie. That's it.
It's straightforward, at least. Like, like where you need to like spend your assets to upgrade. Like you're not like, oh, I got to get a goalie, but I also got to like buy this kind of player and this kind of player. Like, so I don't know. I think it may be expensive to get a goalie, but like that's what you're all.
That's
in
the
for.
one thing, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's the only big thing I need.
And
So,
Carter
yeah,
Hart's expiring since, and that's a 9.5 in
Mhm.
cap mil, right? That you're able to get.
10 mil. Yeah.
Oh, 10 mil in cap that you're able to then use, right?
Yep.
yeah, you've got like 16.8 mil for the summer to fix whatever issues you have. So I don't see any reason why, like, maybe it's a waiver pickup for a backup and something pans out and you wind up trading for another, like, I don't know if you want to go 1A, 1B, or there's always options with the goalie market being as flooded as it's been the last like 4 or 5 seasons. No reason that you can't find a replacement, right? He's not going to be Carter Hart of the past 2 years, but I don't think he needs to be. Your team is great.
The thing
Yeah.
with the Kings, the thing that's always happened with the Kings is theoretically this team is great. I don't know what it is with them in the playoffs. I really don't.
I don't know that either.
I look at the numbers and like you're usually good defensively, but it's also like often just sort of written off as that was Carter Hart, and that's part of it. But like I don't remember your offense and defense ever being this strong. Is there anything in particular that you like feel like has got it more efficient or just like working better than it was, like both of those things, like than it was in the past?
I feel like it's me adding more guys like Hurley, Turtout, and Paisley in my forward group, because usually I would just have all goal scoring forwards, all goal scoring wingers, and I had like 1 2A forward, and that was Logan Cooley, and that was it.
And while Logan Cooley's a 2A forward, he's, still offensively minded.
Yeah. And now I have Turtout, Hurley, and Paisley, who are all playing amazing.
God,
With
is
their
Paisley?
Paisley
lines.
has an 8-head. Jesus.
I love Paisley's contract. This is so nice for a complimentary guy like this. Jeez.
Oh, it's so perfect.
I tried really hard like 2 summers ago to get Paisley when before, and like I think I had agreed to a 3rd round pick for him, and it just kind of like got pushed. I don't know.
Off.
He was like, yeah, we just didn't talk for a week, and then he reconsidered, and I think he wanted at least like a second plus, and I wasn't willing to do that for him, and so it never happened. So I've always kind of like I'm not always like Paisley, but like I've been like kind of had my eye on him. Anyway, a good acquisition for sure. I don't know, just like he's just good at the right things is what it is. So yeah, playing great. I mean, I think I like, we talked about this, especially with like Detroit, or you guys were talking about it. I was posting about it. But like just the lineup construction is like where you can use those guys and get like way more balanced lines. Is definitely something that like is a little bit of a trend that we're seeing. And I think it, like everybody, once you start using it, you're like, oh shit, like this is it. This works really well.
Yeah, I loved adding Hurley. I was so happy to get him in free agency.
Yeah.
There's not
Hart
too
might
many.
still play
Go for it.
well. Hart might still play well. Like, you never know. He gets in the playoffs. You can have a few good games, and just win you a series. I think you're going to make it into the few rounds in.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know if you can beat Colorado. I think they have the better goaltending. I think, like, the centers. I think you have a really good center group, but I think the centers in Colorado are a little bit stronger. And I think your defense is really just on par, or like in terms of like production. But I think your goaltending is where you're gonna kind of fail, unfortunately. But Hart might still, win you a series. You never know.
He's always been good in the playoffs. The thing is, this top three in the West, Colorado, LA, and we'll get to San Jose, this is a power three. And unfortunately, assuming the teams that we expect to win the playoffs, LA, San Jose is going to be round 2. And that's really
That's a
hard
rough
for
go.
both teams. For both teams, that's a hellhole round 2.
I mean, I don't want to disagree about the top 3, but I also think that our numbers are getting inflated by the fact that we're playing so many of our games against like teams that aren't just not at that level or not particularly good. So it looks better. It looks like we're stronger, but we're mostly just like just beating up mostly not that competitive teams.
I just did a quick team comparison on whatever the AGM gives me, and the only difference between LA and Colorado is that LA has an additional star on its penalty kill. Everything else has been the exact same.
LA's been good.
I know.
I've been first in the league in penalty kill like the entire season.
Yeah,
Nice.
notably, LA has like an 86% penalty kill somehow.
That's something I really got to start taking better tracking of.
And like I don't think I've ever had my power play this high up like consistently either.
It's one of the best in the league. Yeah, it's one of the best in the West, which is not saying too much because the West sucks.
Top 10 still.
We'll get to it. Yeah, it's very solid. LA is a super solid team, but I feel like I can't really pick LA to make noise in the playoffs until they do. It's like the Leafs in real life.
I know.
Until they beat one of these teams, like if they beat San Jose round 2, I'll pick them against the Avs. I don't give a shit. Sure, fuck it. Like I got to see it to believe it with them.
Fourth in goals for an average, by the way, with 3.89 goals a game.
Yeah, they score a fuck. This offense, that first line, it's what? Kapchek, Fimis, Hurley? Or is it Kapchek, Hughes, Hurley?
Kapchek, Hughes, and Hurley.
All right. Well, it's lethal. I love Kapchek. I think this is a fantastic pickup. I've always been.
What'd you pay for Kapchek?
Like a second and a third or something, right? Last year.
Yeah, like two nothing picks and like a prospect.
Elliot Goulet, a second, a sixth, and a seventh.
And Goyette.
I was gonna say, if Logan was looking at this at Kapchek, he would be like, he's got 0 agility, and that's all he would see.
I was trying to get Castle before him, and then Castle got traded to someone else, and then I had to find Kapchek, and like,
at this
thank
point
God.
In the database, all players have their warts, right? Like,
right.
Something is gonna look ugly on an attribute page, or is gonna be a missing hidden or something.
Well, I mean, look what Christie did for me last season. Like, I know he's overpaid now, and like I would never have that contract, but look what he did for me last season. He has like 13 speed and like not very good physicals, but he could score goals.
Yeah, his physicals are horrible. Yeah, and Kapchek is locked up for $3 million till 2041. Like, he'll always. I don't think he's going to fall off quick. He'll be a solid complementary goal scoring guy for that contract. I think the whole time. And sure, damn, like that's a solid asset. So is Hurley. That top line, man, it's one of the best in the league. The Kapchek, Hughes, Hurley.
Then I got still 24-year-old Messenberg, who's just getting better every year.
That guy's
nice.
It's one thing that the LA Kings do have going for them. Like the youngest player on the Avs on the current roster was 27, whereas in the Kings have 4 or 5 players on their roster that are younger than that.
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to be fooled with the Kings because they don't really have draft picks and they don't really have many prospects. But the reason why is that their young players are just on their roster performing. Like that's what they have is they have guys like Messenberg and he's performing. He's not a prospect. They don't have many
Messenberg
picks
really is a shark in the water.
for real. Yeah.
Yeah, I have only in my forward group. I have 5 guys 30 and over.
It's
That's
a
not
young
bad.
group. It's
Yeah,
a young group.
like I will say I had a discussion with an unnamed GM, and yes, they are a GM, not a former GM, about the Kings' future, and I said that it was you and me running the West probably for the next 5 years.
I would agree with
I would
that.
concur.
100%.
I was told that that was not true because you don't have prospects or assets, and that you'd be stuck on this treadmill of trading your first every year for another upgrade, and but that's just how it is, right? Like you're always looking to upgrade.
Yeah.
If you feel like your team is competitive, trade that first because you don't want it anyway. You want the player that helps you now, not a player that helps you 5 years from now. So keep it up, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Elite First only has like a 33% chance of being a NHLer with like 200 games, and that's in
Yeah.
GGHL terms, not in real life
Right.
terms. Real life terms, that number is substantially lower. So like trading a late first, you trade to get a third of a chance of an actual player.
right,
I
for sure.
I also think that it's like a cognitive dissonance, as they say. I'm sure Drew is familiar with this term in his studies. But like it's just like the idea that rebuilding a team is the way to like is the like safe path when you're if you're your assets are aging. It's not like most of the players that you draft will not be good while they're waiver well before they have to go through waivers. They won't be good then. They won't be good even when past UFA. Like most of those players will never play for you, and so the idea that it's somehow safe or safer or the prudent decision to rebuild is just like it's false. Like it's actually more plausible to just keep cycling through free agents and like keep just trying to stay good. As long as you can, as long as you have like sort of key assets. So I think it's kind of like the idea, like I think sometimes people just like rebuild because they don't necessarily know what to do. But I think if you have good players and you have the willingness to kind of like keep just like trying to push the envelope, then you should do it because like the other path is not necessarily an easy or like good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to say that, like, for a defenseman, I totally agree with you. It's hard to develop defensemen early unless they're good, because by the time they're good, and by the time they're good in the NHL, they're much older. So they're long past waiver. But for forwards, especially forwards that are actually good, if you're rebuilding or whatever you said, as long as you're good, then they're gonna perform as long as you have the system for, you know what I mean? If you have a good AHL team, then okay, if a prospect goes there, they're not going to suck, right? Like they're actually going to get better. And then if you bring them up, when their coaches say so, then they're going to come up and they're going to be ready and they might play good. If they don't play good, you can send them down. But if they're a bad player, yeah, you don't have a chance probably, right? But if they're actually good and you're rebuilding, as long as you're accumulating assets that can actually play, I think you're okay. I think it's safe. Obviously, you don't really know 100%, but if you know the PA, you can kind of guess within a reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Columbus, kind of like what they've done the last year and a half.
Yep, where they're rebuilding, but they're also simultaneously at least competitive. You don't gotta burn it all down. You can be okay, or you could be like the Kings and just fuck it, right? Your young guys are on your team. Who gives a shit that your prospect pool is thin? You have no picks. Who cares? Who really cares? You're young. Your team is young. Your actual roster is very young. It will last a while. That's the thing. It's so easy to be fooled with the Kings. It's very easy. You were talking about the GM saying, like, yeah, they don't have any prospects. It's true. Who cares? Messenberg's 24. Like, Paisley is what, 27?
Mm-hmm.
You're fine.
Yeah, and just like look at the amount of players that people give up on because they're like 25, 26, and they haven't really made it yet. As long as you kind of keep your eye on those guys, if you keep your eye on Europe, you're going to find players. And that's on top of UFA. There's just like it's hard to find like necessarily like key players without like overspending. If that's the only way you're going to you have to get those key players, but like to find players that will be good at supporting building around key players. Those players you can find anywhere.
Takeaway goaltending. I have the LA Kings as the best team in the league.
Yeah.
Not shocked. Like, the big question mark is Hart, and I really just got to believe it to see it with the Kings. And I don't blame I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are like, the Kings lose in round 2 every year. They're the Caps. They're the 2010s Caps of GGHL, where I feel like at some point the Kings will just break through and win a cup. But
I'm a realistic thinker, so I think I'm going to be kicked out in the second round again just because of Hart. But if I was able to like land Wybakov, I would have been way more confident.
I would not be shocked if, like, for example, the Kings blow it in round 2 this year, and randomly next year they pick up a good goalie and they just win the cup. I would not be shocked. This team has always been capable of doing it. They just lose in 7 every time. It was to the Oilers. It was to the Sharks. One game, constantly. One game.
Hey, at least the Oilers are out. You know, they're not
the
making
Oilers.
it.
We'll get to the Oilers. Oh my God!
It's getting to be one of the saddest days of the season is when Joe like gets kicked out of the playoffs and you can't feel anything but like bad that it happened again.
Yeah, fuck it. Because it'll be in 7. It's never like a stomp. It's always like a fight, like a dog fight. They just never pull through. It's
chance
so
variation, as in like you run that simulation, I don't know, 500 times, 250 of the times it's going to go with San Jose, 250 times it's going to go with LA, you know?
Same with all
Sometimes
those
it doesn't
Edmonton
work.
series in the
Right,
early 2030s. That's like, it's so crazy that LA's never broken through. They have to at some point. I wouldn't be shocked if it's this year, but I won't pick them until I see it.
I've been to the Western Conference Finals once in this entire league.
And it's like a really good team, right? Like, this roster's fantastic. I feel like they will get held back by Hart, though. Mostly because, compared to the other teams, Colorado and the next team, the Sharks, the goaltending is a lot worse.
Speaking of the next team.
The year I made it to the conference finals, my goaltending was worse than Hart.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll see.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I had Cal Peterson.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, right. I remember that.
Was Cal Peterson good in this DB?
He was okay. Like he wasn't Ottinger level. Like he wasn't a superstar.
Okay.
But he was good enough to get me to the playoffs.
He's probably like a little bit above Hammerla, maybe.
Oh shit.
You know, I think there were a lot of 160 PA-ish, 160, 165 PA-ish goalies. And
I'm pretty sure.
If you happen to get roll high consistency, then like that guy was good. You know, that guy would have been one of the better goalies. So yeah, that's kind of like how it was at the start. But yeah.
I think you're going to see a lot of that with the regens of those players.
Yeah, same.
We're going to have a constant influx of capable starters. You just pray for consistency, and in my opinion, building up a defense in front of your goalie, give them the help. Hopefully they grow. Like if you can start them early, 23, 24, and hopefully they grow into their, into their prime.
Isn't Coburn the Peterson region?
Carolina, I believe, is Peterson. And he's quite good. He had a fucking terrible season in the AHL so far, but he's still good. I believe him.
I believe he had the trouble adapting.
Oh, maybe. That might be.
No, that was that's Almlo.
You're right.
Yeah.
He's also
Coburn would be
same draft year though.
I've been asking Alex about Coburn for like a year. I want Coburn, but he's not going to give me Coburn.
His rebound control hasn't grown at all since his draft. It's stuck at 6. That's the one thing I'm concerned about Coburn.
I mean, that attribute is not needed to be good at this role, but it's still low. And I mean, also, you rarely see goalies with bravery that low, which is that's like fighting through traffic. You know, I don't know. Like maybe I don't know that that's going to kill him on its own, but like you just don't really see goalies with like just reds at the top of the mentals like that. I mean, aggression is a non-factor, creativity is a non-factor, and I don't think anticipation does much for goalies either. But bravery is usually like at least 10 for any decent goalie. So I don't know if that's maybe like part of why he hasn't been as strong as we would hope, like what I thought he was going to be.
There's definitely some blood in the water with Beckett Coburn, and you know who's attracted to blood in the water.
We've tried.
I've tried this 3 times at this point. The San Jose Sharks, you know, I've got them at 5th in offense, 2nd in defense, 11th in net, but I have them.
Obviously.
I would personally have them a lot higher because, you know, Ottinger hasn't been a part of that team this entire season, you know.
Yeah.
And he has a 930 with them.
I think they're just as good as Colorado now. Like, to be honest, I think they could potentially beat them. Their centers, Sim almost just as well as them. I don't think. I think maybe Angus might need to move his lines a bit. Something get his 4th line going a little bit, or something like that. But as long as his goalies hold up, now he's got Onger, he's got lots of options. I think his defense is great. I think his forward group is really strong.
His defense is nasty.
Bronson Ryan
His defense
such a good
core.
pickup.
Turek, Stenman, and Ride, all nasty players.
Yeah, they're all like
Ride is his
20
second on
defensemen.
his second pair. Fuck off with that.
Fuck off. No,
Fuck
Ride
off.
is.
Ride is his second pair.
I love that Ride has been on like 10 teams and he's the best defenseman in the league. It's crazy to me.
He's simming over 9 in his last 7 games.
Yeah,
Fuck
since I put him on the left side, which his positions have him as competent, but he is not listed as a right D lefty. He has 2 games under an 8 AVR.
It's been fantastic, yeah.
He's also shoots right, which is rare for players in this league.
Yeah.
Right.
The idea was his term is 1 year longer than Stenman. If I want to keep them both, I can. But I think I'm going to flip Stenman and create a little bit of cap space. I don't need to, but that's on the table. I've listed Stenman on the block twice now, I think, at the deadline and once after.
That is a draft move for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. I have shaken up the lines, but not the 4th line because I'm not super concerned about it. I'm really just testing and seeing is Eklund a better play or is Lagerberg is a better play there.
All I'm saying is Colorado's got all their dots crossed, and you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that your 4th line center is just not doing anything, and I think that could be a problem in the playoffs.
Dude, how fucked up is it that they have Chambers or Artiella for the next forever? Jesus Christ.
Not fair.
That 5 years might screw you over. I would have tried to sign him for 4 years, keep him as RFA.
This is his 3rd year in the league. I think even 4 years would have pushed him.
Yeah, he would have. He'd have to do 3.
Oh, really? You have to do 3.
I think you say fuck it, and you're like, I am a god tier contender for 5 years. I am a problem for 5 years.
If I lose him, I will cry, but I will move on.
Yeah.
Well,
plus you got Razziella for forever.
Yep.
I think that I agree generally with what Jordan said. Like I think this team is as strong as mine. But like what I'm hanging my hat on is just our kind of Stanley Cup, playoff success. Like that I don't know. I feel like that like drives up the important matches like for players and we kind of have obviously we've just been like racking up that kind of like confidence or whatever you want to call it in the playoffs, and it seems like when somebody's giving us even a little bit of a hard time, like there's something that just like pushes us past everybody, and who knows, we'll only know if that's like something real when we finally lose, but like that's the kind of thing where it's like, to me, and this team, San Jose and Washington are the ones where I'm where I think like the talent is pretty much on par. I'm relying on like just not having the like that like that like playoff experience, and that making a big difference for our team to push us over the edge.
I definitely give you the edge in goaltending, but they're really close. And if one of their goalies, they have two good goalies in the playoffs that can play. It's just one of them is going to be hot, and one of them might not be. I don't know.
I mean, is Ottinger actually just like a 930 goalie? Because he has been this year. He's been insane. He's going to win Vezina. At least he'll be my vote.
He's usually sick every year. That's the fact.
He was that good on the Islanders dumpster fire team.
Yeah, he was like a 920 on the Islanders.
He has an above 3 goals against average and still a 925 on the Islanders.
What even, right? And with San Jose, he has a 1.69 goals against, 932 save percentage. This guy, this year is crazy. Optimally, he doesn't tear his UCL for the 15th time because he's done it every year.
But he also has the franchise tag, and I'm not sure how many players actually have the franchise tag on them.
It's 5, I think. Yeah, he's really good.
Really?
And
yeah, Ottinger has the franchise tag.
No, I mean, I'm surprised more goalies don't have it. I thought it was like more like 10. I'm not sure. But
Colin Paw used to have the franchise tag.
Yeah, there is some weirdness with that. Like where I've had like second line players like that was there. It was like 4-star guys that got like, but not in this league, but that had franchise. Like I don't know. It's obviously kind of like probably some I don't know. Something it's in the like a combination of different like sort of like rep ratings and things that kind of like develop this or like trigger this tag. But I think that sometimes it's kind of messed up. Like I don't know how I got a Finnish defense that was playing wing who wasn't even in the NHL and he had a franchise tag. So yeah.
Hold on, are you talking about the former Shark Lim Tong?
No, this is in SHA.
Gotcha.
Like this guy wasn't even a good player. He's like played on my third line, but for some reason he was a franchise forward.
So he wasn't a star.
But he was
star.
like an okay offensive player.
You know who is a star? The Dallas Stars.
Oh wait! I want to.
Right, go for it.
Another thing to mention about the Sharks is I'm pretty sure, at least for me, they're gonna have 2 award winners because Rautiala is winning Hart.
Rautiala is winning Hart.
Dude, he's 27 points above the next highest on his team, and the next highest is Stenman. It's not even a line.
Not even Jack Hughes. Not even Northeastern Jack Hughes.
Yeah. So, who are the other Hart? Like, this is just a little sidetracker. Like, who are the other Hart candidates for people?
Oh man, I would argue Hughes on LA.
I almost nominated.
How is Sawyer Weeman doing this good at Columbus?
He's good centers.
Columbus, man. I don't know. Levi, Leonov, Rautiala, of course. Poikinen, perhaps. Maybe whoever's top goalie besides Poikinen. I can't remember. I think it is Ottinger, actually.
It's Ottinger. It's literally Ottinger, yeah. It's fucking Ottinger.
You know?
It's Rautiala is going to win, I'm pretty sure. But for me, the easy second nominee is Jack Hughes on LA. We didn't talk too much about him, other than the line being crazy. He drives the fuck out of it.
He's only 5 points behind Rautiala.
He also has a higher AVR than Rautiala.
Yeah,
Ottinger's been worth 21 wins on his own this
fucking
season.
Christ.
Granted, most of those with LA or with New York Islanders. I understand.
I would argue like
still.
Rautiala, Hughes, Levis, or something like that, or like LeBlanc on Montreal. One of those guys. Maybe
I actually would even have LeBlanc as my top owned guy, but regardless,
I think. I mean the problem, like I think this hurts my team too, and it's just like with Montreal, it's just like there's too many good players on their offense to like single out one player because yeah. And maybe that goes for Levi too, but I
mean,
don't
he
know.
plays on a really insane line. Good old Washington, they're a threat, but we covered them.
I think Jack Hughes definitely deserves a nomination. I don't know. Has he been nominated for that award yet? I think I've nominated him before, but I don't know if he ended up being a nominee.
I don't think my Jack Hughes has ever been nominated for anything.
Okay.
Or
you got to
how
be
I
very
have
clear.
it in my database as Jacques Hughes rather than Jack. I made him French Canadian.
Yeah,
but we can all agree Sawyer Raymond does not need to be nominated for anything.
He's a supplemental winger. He is what he is. He's been so bad on other teams that
whatever. Like, it's good that players like this develop when you maybe write them off. Like I was saying last night, 2 seasons ago he had a 6.5 AVR. 2 seasons ago, and now he's over 8.
There's a lot of these guys that are supplemental. Raymond is for sure one of the supplemental guys, but for me, it's these guys that are truly line driving, like Levis, Hughes, Rautiala, and I give it to Rautiala because he's doing so much better than anyone else.
So much better than anyone else in the Stars, right?
Chambers was out for half the year, and that whole time Rautiala was the only real way that the team was actually scoring. With Chambers, obviously, they got that 1-2. It's fucking lethal, but Rautiala is a problem. He's so good.
Yeah.
He's a superstar.
Superstar.
You don't say.
The Dallas Stars. Wow. Alrighty. So Dallas, I have them as a 112-point team to finish the season. 11th in offense, 16th in defense, 7th in goaltending with a 907. I have to ask, who the hell had the Dallas Stars as not only a playoff team, but a elite playoff team, perhaps?
Super comfortable. They're not even. They were not close
borderline.
to missing. Not at all. They're so comfy. They're second in the Central, and they're probably not going to lose second in the Central.
I'm not sold on their center group at all.
Me neither. I think that's the biggest weakness on this team.
That's their only weakness I see.
Yes, I love their wingers. I love their defense. I've always been the second biggest Milmore truther on the server. I think he's really good. I can't be the biggest physically.
I've always liked Milmore. Yeah, I
never disliked him,
but not as good. He's late. That's what I thought.
Henriksen is currently Carl Henriksen is currently the guy they're using as second line center. I didn't 2-3 years ago. I didn't trust him anymore to play fourth line center.
Who the Stars could really use? Jean-Michel Allard as a 2C.
Oh, okay.
You know who the Stars could really use is Leon Draisaitl, who they couldn't pick up because they have $9 million in cap penalties.
Why couldn't he make it work? What's the thing that makes him not I get the 9 million penalties, but you can just send players down, and I feel does he not have a decent salary winger that he could just be whatever, this guy may be useful for me, but Draisaitl will be more useful.
The thing is, he has guys like Holtz and Rantanen who isn't willing to cut. These guys are both $11 million wingers.
They're also.
That's what he should have done.
They're fucking good. They're fucking fantastic. But
I would I'd rather have Draisaitl in my lineup than Rantanen. I get there's you don't want to get rid of either of them, but somebody gets injured, and you send him down. And hopefully he passes through waivers because he can't skate anymore, Rantanen. And then someone gets injured, and guess what? You can bring him right back up. I don't know. I think I get being careful, but I think he should have thrown out all the stops to make that deal work.
Yes. I'll just say the final stopping point, there was a way to make it work with Elias Pettersson. He was never going to afford Dry without sending those guys down. But Pettersson he could have brought, and Pettersson's still good too. He's no Dry, but He could have brought him if he gave me Doc and Henriksen, and then ran his C's as Person, Pedersen, McDermott, Curry. But he didn't want to like cut all of his C depth. That was the end of the deal, essentially. Which
I
I
think
would
Who's
have done
Dallas going to play?
They're playing Arizona in the first round.
Yeah.
Or no, not Arizona.
No, they
Who the
wouldn't play
fuck is it?
Arizona.
It's
They play
Winnipeg?
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg. That's an interesting matchup.
I think
we'll get
that
to it.
I mean, yeah,
I think either team
I
can
don't
win.
know. I feel like Winnipeg has the centers to probably like make them look a little stupid. I'm not saying it will happen, but I think it's possible.
Dallas,
yeah.
I feel like, should be one of those teams. We talked about it yesterday with Columbus. You know what? We're happy to be here. This is a young team.
Yeah,
They have
sure,
a lot of
sure,
young
sure.
players. They have a lot of their prospect pool is fantastic. It's really good. They got Othman, Sidlowski, Wolfram, and who's the other
Zimmerman
guy?
as well.
Oh yeah, Zimmerman is a young guy. Curry is a young guy. McDermott is a young guy. This is a young fucking roster with a lot of prospects, and they're way ahead of schedule. Like they fucking in the playoffs at all is way ahead of schedule, and they're fourth in the West.
Yeah,
I was-
don't know
think
how
there's
long,
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know how long they have 9.6 million dead cap for, but they're set up to sustain that, right? Like Rantanen goes, you can add a piece that's more valuable with that 8 million or two pieces if you need to. A guy like who is it, Ludwig Person? That's like, did he extend him this year?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's extended 4 more years after this season.
A guy I like his production, but that feels replaceable, right? Like it feels like Allard would have been better to keep that spot.
Oh,
next
let's not start the Allard debate because I know there are some people who think Allard is like a scrub. He's been fine after leaving, but
Yeah,
I
he's
would take Person
fine.
over Allard. I would take Person over Allard for sure.
I would, but not at that cap hit, right? Like what's Allard's cap
And
hit? 2.8?
age.
And age. Exactly.
He's 32 right now.
Oh,
Right.
Signed for 4 more years at above 4.
and his
At
skating.
4.6 for 4 years.
I
Well,
like the player. He's producing.
I really
but-
think the biggest question I have with him is what is up with the 9.6 million dead cap and how long is that? Because I really don't think he truly compete.
It's at least this
We
season
need
and next season.
Logan to do. We need Logan to do an investigative report
For sure.
Like, what is this? Who caused this? How did it happen? Whose head rolled because of it?
We kind of talked about it last night a bit.
We
And
did.
we
briefly.
might have. I think we surmised that he was signing people when he had 50 contracts, and
It was mostly
he did.
just a bunch of red.
He didn't know.
It was the AGM just cutting
And the,
people.
yeah,
that
and
he
the
didn't
AGM
realize.
just cutting people.
And then
Yep,
Sam
right.
Reinhart, I think, might have been. No,
Sam
not
Reinhart had an
Sam
albatross
Reinhart.
when he
Yeah.
bought it out. Like a complete boat anchor contract, and he bought it out.
Ooh.
I
And-
do really like the Simon Nemec addition for them, though.
Oh, I love all of the moves they made. The thing is, I don't think they could truly compete because of that 9 mil cap hit. Because we talked about this last night too. 9 million is dry. That's immediately you get a good C. That's what it is essentially.
Right, that's an addition, not subtracting anyone from the
Mhm.
roster. That's just
Yeah,
a straight
exactly.
addition at that
The
point.
second that runs out, you put in a good C, and suddenly this team is really scary because their only issue, I really see no flaws on this roster at all, other than center depth. It's bad. These guys aren't ready. And like in a few years, I think Wolfram is like I love Wolfram. Curry's good. McDermott's good. They have these young guys, and surely they will step up, and then they can sign them using once that dead cap is done. They can sign them using that dead cap. Ta-da! You're where you started, and these guys are more developed. So Dallas is fucking fit. I'd be so happy if I were Dallas for real.
Yeah,
Well,
Dallas is underperforming. Nemec specifically, and you're probably right. It probably is their centers. I'm not like 100% sold on it being just their centers, but yeah, I think that they look like a fringe playoff team, but they're in fourth, so that shows how the
They're
West
in,
is.
they're in fourth because fringe playoff teams in the West are barely 500. Like
Right.
Castle's
Yeah.
physicals dropped, man.
Yeah. I think
For me,
go ahead.
I was going to say, for me, the lesson here, like, is sometimes you think you're still like 2-3 years from competing, but like you don't have to be. It's kind of a choice. Like if sometimes you get over patient at these moments where things are starting to like go in a right direction, and when the right reaction is to like put your foot on the gas, and they did that at the right time here. And sometimes teams just wait way too long to do that, thinking it's going to all just come together when like it needs it. You need to really like force the issue, and he did that, and it's going. I'm glad that that's working. Like that's resulting in a season where he gets to be a good team.
Yep. And another valuable thing, these young ass guys, your Sidlowskis, your Zimmermans, them getting that playoff run is so good for their development.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they lose round one, which they could, even if they lose round one, you're satisfied. It's a complete success of a season, no matter what happens in the playoffs for Dallas. They could get swept. Millmore could get shot in the head. They'd be fine.
Again, using the Avalanche as a bar metric, right? Where the 27 age was the youngest player on the Avs. The Stars have 9 players 27 and younger on their roster, including Millmore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look at Darren Ottman. Like Darren Ottman's only 19.
Players not in the league yet, right?
Yeah. He'll come in. Look at Wolframe. Wolframe's not in the league. He's a 7.7 in the AHL right now. He will step in.
My GM has Wolframe as his 5th best prospect, and if Wolframe's your 5th best prospect, you're winning.
You're chilling. Like
that's Ryan Johansson, I think.
So he's like Othman is Yossi, so it's like 190.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's low con, but he's also low con, low adaptability, but
he's also already signed over in North America, so the low adaptability
so you're completely fine.
Yeah,
I mean, it takes him a while.
He's doing good in the AHL too. So.
Yeah, he's been fine.
Yeah.
He had a good first season in the A, but he's got more points this season in less games, so he's doing a bit better in my opinion, even though his plus minus that could just be the team struggling.
His AVR is probably deflated because of that plus minus, because something that I did with AC was like looking at how much plus minus affects AVR. Plus minus and face-off percentage really affect AVR more than they probably should.
Yeah, and his team sucks. Texas is not good. They have not much.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, like, I think AVR is a little bit overrated in terms of how we like think of it, like how we evaluate players. I mean, I do it too. I think I fall into that trap, but I think the way to think about AVR is like this is the game trying to quantify how good a player is playing, and it's showing us how it's doing that. But it's not really. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is like how much they're contributing to the success of the team. It's just a built-in sort of way for the game to understand. Hey, is this guy having a good season? Is he having a bad season? Should he be growing? Should he be regressing? Like I think that's how you have to think of AVR. It's a result of the process, not necessarily a reflection of like a true reflection of how well they're playing.
True. I honestly believe that the Nemec suffrage on this team is Caden Gooley.
Is he playing with Caden Gooley?
Yes.
No.
I do not like Gooley's contract.
No, and I think you move off from that if you can, especially since you have Zimmerman and Sidlowski.
Buy him out.
But just the same, I mean, more dead cap, sure, but at the same point, maybe it's worth it when you can add a player like Dry, or even if it's somebody else, right? But there's got to be a way that you can jumble your top 4. I think Gooley can potentially contribute to the point where he's driving a second pair, and you let McDermott ride off of Nemec and grow that way. Is kind of how I did it with Stenman and Turek. And Turek came into the league at like 20, 21, and grew like a weed doing that. So I think there's a way you can get even better production out of this team by jumbling your lineups. This is something I've been doing since I've got this ridiculous dearth of talent. I'm sitting guys who have 92, 94.
He also has a defensive style coach. I think if he changes that to like an attractive attacking, he could be even better.
Oh my God, really? What?
Yeah.
Greg Moore.
Very interesting. That is strange.
In real life, coach of the Newfoundland Growlers, I think.
Ooh.
Well, like the other thing is when you play, and this is kind of popped in my head, but when you play this defensive style and all of your defense are like playmaking,
Yes.
it might
Contradictory.
just, yeah, it might just end up with you getting the
He
puck.
has Jeremy Colleton just sitting there waiting for him as an assistant coach. And, like, yeah, it's not attractive attacking. It's still an attacking style of play that matches lines, you know.
Yeah. I feel like the only way defensive really works is if you're really hardcore built for it, like Carolina was before they are re-experimenting. Where it's you just have a ton of defensive players. How many defensive players are even on this team? 2? It's mostly a fairly standard offensively built team with like kind of mediocre center depth.
That's some more testing that I would like to see done.
Yeah.
On what? On like coaches?
Coaches and like there's kind of just this meta that everyone's been trying, but there's like 4 or 5 teams who have had relative success with a defensive-minded coach. So
Yeah.
The 1 year I went to the conference finals, my coach was defensive.
So
Yeah.
maybe defensive coaches are just secretly the tech, right? Maybe. God knows.
I think we're all just kind of a little lost in the desert.
yeah,
Yeah, I
You know,
think
Speaking of the desert, the Arizona Coyotes.
Oh my god.
Fucking Arizona. What are their stats?
Their
I'm so
stats.
confused.
Okay,
Yeah.
13th in offense, 9th in defense, 13th in net minding. So, like, none of that, like, jumps off a page for you, but, like, none of that's also bad, right? It's all pretty good, not great. Like, Kolosov, I would say, is pretty good, not great. A lot of their players, I feel like, it would be the same way.
like right now they have Ville Volante playing first line center. I mean, maybe that was an injury replacement or something. I mean, he's only played 3 games this year.
Bolduc is injured right now. He's their first line center.
No, he's their second line center in this lineup on like that I'm looking at.
Likewise, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know.
Elliot Linder, I think,
So-
is the Nick Backstrom region, right?
Yeah, but he's not like ever shown that he could do much. So I don't know. What,
He's low con on my scouts.
right. He had 50 points last year, so that's. But like, yeah, I mean, maybe he'll just explode at some point with those like technicals. But like, yeah, he was a first overall pick, I think. 2029. So we're 8 years since then, right?
I wrote a prospect report on Elliot Linder. Let me see if I can find that right quick.
I don't like it. It's some of these players are so slow. Like it's just hard to believe that how long it's taking them to get to where they're going. Even if consistency plagues this guy, like he should like some of these things, like 12 stick handling for a playmaking center. Like how is that still that low?
I probably
don't know.
wouldn't be playing him third line. I know he's low con, so you want him right off of one of those top 6, but maybe you can shelter him with your better wingers like Caulfield or Cantagallo or something like that and get his production up, even if it's not like the 7-2 or the 7-5 that you want to see, up into the 7s, up into the high 6-8, 6-9 range.
If I'm
So
being
this is
Who
what I
was it?
wrote for Elliot Linder in the 2030-2031 season. Linder might be good, like really good. A lot of things go against him, though. Consistency issues, the fact he's 9th on the team report, 9th, doesn't show well for his PRA result. However, I think there's more due to the Coyotes having a solid pool of players rather than anything Linder has done. I'd retake Linder first overall in the 2029 draft, top 6C. That's what I wrote for him back in 2031.
It really looks like he's mishandled. Like, goes to NHL right away, and then like doesn't play well. Goes to AHL, couple seasons, doesn't play well, then goes straight to the NHL.
Yeah.
So he hasn't
Third
had
tier
success. He
Sweden.
hasn't had a chance to have a good morale, get like his ads up, stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Goes
And
from
now
third tier
Gia
Sweden
goes through
to
waivers.
NHL.
Yeah. Now he has to go through waivers. So I think it's too late. I think Linder's kind of fucked.
I did ask about him not that long ago. I think last summer probably, and I was told absolutely he wasn't trending him. So, yeah, I don't know. I
He
mean,
is only 24, and as we've seen with
Yeah.
like Sealer and whatnot, you can continue growing to 30 or something stupid like that.
I think
He's having the worst season ever. Like he has a 20% shooting, 20
Yeah.
shooting percentage, and he's still producing the worst of his career. Like,
I think you move him up, right? You move Valente down to third line, move Bolduc and Linder up, and try to get him better looks with a better line pair.
Hell,
And
play
see
him
if
at
you
wing
can-
for development for
Or
a couple
play
of
him at
seasons.
wing, sure.
Yeah, this is the this is the situation where it's needed. I mean, it may be permanent, right? Like with the low con, he may just never sim well at center.
he's low con, not
So,
that
but, like-
high PA. So
Right.
I'm a
What do you
big
mean
fan
not
of
that
his
high?
defense group.
just like I don't know who his comp was, but I
That-
don't
it's-
think
He's a Backstrom's
like
regen.
old ass like 2021 DB Backstrom where he's like 160 PA, right? Like this isn't a
I think he
superstar.
was still pretty high. I'll look it up.
160 PA is still pretty solid.
No,
Yeah.
it's completely solid. But for
Yeah.
is he low con or is he mid con? Actually, I don't know.
I wrote consistency issues, so my
He's
guess
low
is
con.
low con. Right.
He's low con. Theoretically, with these low con guys, I feel like they can succeed at C if they're like 200 PA. That's why I would draft what's his face, the McDavid regen first
Yeah.
overall every time. But if his
Agreed.
PA, I feel like it's one of the two. You could be like a 170 PA low con winger and excel. He'd be like a superstar on the wing. He'd be fantastic. I'd love him. But right now he's struggling and it's not great.
touch on what Joe said. I also really like their decor, but they're doing some weird shit with it. Like, why is Quinn Hughes playing second pair, Wasova playing over him, and Hughes is clearly having a better season?
Yeah,
Hughes,
man.
Sova, Luno, and Soderstrom. I like that
Luno
for.
is nice.
That's
yes,
a great
their top four is
four-pet.
nasty. It's really good.
it's probably why they're such a good team. I mean, aside
Yeah.
from goaltending, which is kind of good. but
Moser's
it seems-
sick for a third pair too.
Yeah.
For a third pair, he's pretty sick. Like
The
his
thing with
AVR
their
isn't
goal-
as good this year, but like as a CA wise, he's pretty solid.
The thing with their
Those-
goaltending, and we touched on this with the Rangers yesterday. 1A, 1B is fantastic for the regular season. It does a lot of work in the regular season, and that's what they have is Kolosov, Comesso. These are two like 35-year-old 1Bs or 1As. But in the playoffs, I feel like that bites you because neither of these guys are going to do that good in the playoff series.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just gotta, whichever one gets the hottest, you just gotta kind of ride them into the playoffs. If that's, just pick a guy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably Kolosov because he's had those streaks.
Well,
He has
I kinda
Comesso playing
feel like-
over the majority of the games for the regular season, though.
yeah,
I kind of
he's got-
feel like the thing about what you were saying about the playoffs, like versus the regular season. I think once you become a team that expects, like, it's kind of a foregone conclusion that you're going to make the playoffs. Like all of the like the importance of like regular season success or like having like a perfectly balanced lineup every game kind of goes away. It's more about like
Experiment.
It's more about what works in
Yep.
the short term, and then you get yourself to a good position so that you can, in the playoffs, just like go ham. So like I don't know. I think that's kind of like how you have the mentality you have to have about the regular season. That is just kind of practice. Once you get to that level where like you're not really worried about whether you're going to be on the verge of the 8th seed or what.
When it comes to my goalie model, I have Comesso's two closest comparables as Rodrigue and Guer. Above Hart, above LDP, but still under like Lopez and Dubois. So like good, not great.
for the reg though. Like
Yeah,
we'll
specifically
have-
for the reg.
yeah,
And his backup is Kolosov. That's so comfortable.
Right.
It's a
So
really good
Backstrom,
tandem.
I have him as 178 PA, like
oh man,
in the DB that the DB. This is like pivot at around the time that they started this league.
interesting. So yeah, maybe. I don't adore Linder. I really don't. I've never liked him. Really ever. I joined after his draft, so honestly, I don't know what this draft class was like. Probably terrible because it's
It was not
2029.
good.
Yeah. But I've
That's
never
what it
liked
was
Linder.
like. Yeah,
Hey,
that was what it was like. Is like this guy. Oh, he doesn't look very good for number one, but nobody else looks that good either. So it's
Yeah.
just like, he's
God
at
knows,
least
man.
a playmaking center, which like everybody wants. So
Yeah.
Comeso's actually had some playoff, like, I don't want to say success, but like solid experience. He's 9-18 in the playoffs, 11-10 on a
Oh my
bad
God.
Chicago team.
You're right.
Right.
Jesus.
Whereas Kolosov is like barely 900.
So you do probably write Comesso then and just see. But the thing is, we basically know the first round matchup. That is the thing with Arizona, and this is what bites them. Their first round matchup is one of San Jose or LA, probably San Jose at this point. They just get slaughtered, right? Like the C depth is such a problem. All right, they got Rautiala Chambers, you got Bolduc Linder. You're fucked.
Yeah.
I would hope so. I'm praying. I'm
Yeah.
praying.
One of those San Jose or LA is going to be like if they start off like 1-1, it's going to be like, oh no.
so we're
Yeah.
saying the Coyotes aren't quite clear for takeoff yet, right?
No, this is a young roster that is on the up. Botmac is always selling, and I just think it's really funny. I've never seen him be a buyer in any league.
He bought Theo
I
from
would-
me in OOHL, but like I
He
haven't seen him
buys
much.
guys, but he's always selling, and no matter what. So we'll see how it goes. This team is probably a first round playoff out, but they're young enough that like, fine, you're on an upwards trajectory. It's no
This
big
year,
deal.
there's not a clear runway for them, but like years
Yep.
in the future, right?
Happy to be here, right? Happy to be here. Which is how I describe half the West, really, because this conference sucks.
There is a lot of haves and have-nots. Up next is the Winnipeg Jets, who I have as, let me find Winnipeg last on my list. I have them at 14th in offense, 17th in defense, 4th in net minding. So, Wallstead?
It said 14 in offense and they have Koivunen and Mitskov.
Yeah, they
Just
don't.
very
Mishkov missed a big part of the season, right?
Yeah.
Missed a
Mitch
fair
Cobb
chunk.
did
They
miss.
picked up Eichel for a while. He's been Mitchkov has been nearly point per game. Man, he's
Not
never
quite,
replicated
though.
those 2 seasons he had with me. The one where he got Hart and by a mile, and then was a Hart nominee again. He's never replicated that after the trade to Buffalo. Even this year, he's not point a game.
Nope. Not
Yeah,
point
I
a game.
don't-
Hasn't been a
I
point a
don't-
game since he won the Hart, right?
No, no, he was point a game the season after, I believe. Basically, exactly. He was like 82 and 82.
Oh, 77,
But-
84. Right,
Yeah.
74.
He's going through the the Miroshnichenko like early 20s to sort of like wobble. Yeah, I mean, I think Winnipeg could beat Dallas in the first round, but I think that I don't think they can go any further. Yeah,
Probably right after
I
that.
see Winnipeg beating Dallas. Yeah.
He really needs a center, like someone to kind
Now,
of be a
Rushev's
1C.
there.
I don't know.
Yeah, they got-
Marushev's
they
been
got-
great this year.
They got Marushev and Perfetti.
He signed
I just-
Fedorovich from me this last summer.
I
It's not
just
good
think
center
they need a
depth.
2C. I think they have 3 good players, right? But I think that
Torres is a good
maybe I'm
winger.
wrong.
We went
To
over
me-
a lot of.
I'm just comparing them to Dallas. I think they beat Dallas, but I don't think they go further.
Could be a magical Winnipeg Jets run again, but like we all get them the first round and that's it.
Yeah, I think their bottom 2, like Bork. This line's centered by Hordorovich and Bork. They're just kind of like suffering. They're not playing a role for them, and I think that's kind of
Hodorowicz can't play center. I mean, I think
So
it's pretty
weird. Why?
clear.
He's really not that good of a wing either. He's never had point production.
I mean-
he's a great looking
Yeah.
player, but he's not the kind of guy you play on a wing. Like, you play a mid-6 and you're missing out on offensive production. And he doesn't really have the takeaways, the hits that impact, right? Like you're sheltering a goal scoring or a playmaking guy who doesn't play defense. He doesn't have the capability to contribute to a line like that. He's a fourth line center, in my opinion. That's it.
He also has a really shitty face-off percentage for somebody that has 20 face-offs. His face-off percentage is 36.
Whoa,
I don't know how you're that shit at it
you know,
at 20, you know? You have 20 face-offs. I don't know why you're that shit at it.
Consistent.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like the 20 work rate and I trust Angus because he had this player for a couple of years, but like that he doesn't get a lot of hits and things like that. Like how is that possible? Like I don't know. Something's messed up in his hiddens, I think.
He's also been playing the life out of Wallstedt. He's at 69 games played.
When he was a prospect, he had a McDavid comp.
Oh,
yeah, right.
Jesus.
Yep.
He clearly has like huge PA. He clearly has huge PA, and
he has low
I don't
con.
know. He looks like looks like the type of player that I would put on the wing and like the way he plays. But yeah, I don't know. Like obviously,
it's low con.
There's something that's not working. It may be the low con.
It's probably low con.
It's definitely the low. Like he is like one con. He's not low con. He's one con.
One con.
He could not perform. He's not worth $2 million.
As I wrote back in 2031, at some point, should it get off the pot, the upside is there of a really special top six winger, but not as a C due to his really shitty con. But I'm not entirely confident he actually ever gets there. Well, he got there, but hopefully he gets there as a winger, perhaps. I don't know.
I don't know. I think he doesn't have a shot to be anything more than like a fourth line center who you just know is not going to score points, but he can at least do something. He can play center if you're paying him $1 million, and that was the holdup with me is I wasn't going to extend him because I wasn't going to pay him 1.8. I tried to trade his rights because I had no intention of signing him.
He's like, I mean, this guy. How high did he go in that draft that you're talking about, Drew?
Top 5.
Second overall in game at least.
Yeah, in the game it shows second. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's like, I don't know what player he is, but yeah, it's sucks that this guy can't be actually at least useful because he like has a ton of PA, obviously.
He's just one of those guys you're waiting 10 years to see if his regen has con.
Yeah,
he's just
that's true.
hunting his regen because he's gonna be a good player. He's gonna have PA. Like he looked great. There's a reason I wanted him in the deal that I got Havelwood and Sova because I wanted that fourth line center and I wanted a two-way player. So he fit the bill perfectly.
He
I
went
tried him on the
12
wing.
overall. Sorry to interrupt. But he went
Really?
12 overall. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that must have been a while ago because there's no way that draft was that good.
2025.
It was also
it's the same as the Peter draft.
Arizona drafted him again.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Morocco that draft. You had Heim.
Peter.
Then
The
Vito.
center, man. People just like,
Marushev.
Columbus Blue Jackets Sawyer Raymond went to Vancouver in that draft, third overall, as a BPA.
Wow.
Oh, the BPA on the sheets is.
Right. It's probably for future. Right. So probably not.
Right.
Raw deal for Washington.
Yeah, no kidding.
That was Waltiala draft too.
Mm-hmm.
Rautiala was like a legendary fucking pick. He was like ISS 60. That's the best pick ever.
Probably.
I mean, this is also like, I guess what's worth noting for me is like this is the like least Joe G team looking Jets team that there is, and mostly it's probably because he spent so much money signing wingers instead of what he usually does, which is spend all that money signing centers. Yeah, I mean,
he took a gamble.
At least he tried something different, but like it was way too much money for those guys, and he had also like dismantled a lot of like he had to sell off a lot of like decent players, like guys who were decent, and like he has guys playing that suck. Like Archer Guertin is awful, and he's playing fourth line for him. this is Kadri regen, but like just not ready in any way to play in the NHL, and he's forced to because of his cap issues caused by those two players, by Michkov and Koivunen.
Yeah, that's $25 million for those two.
Like, those are great players, so it's hard not to do that, but you have to have a plan, right? Like, that's the kind of play you make when you have guys locked up to, like, ELC or severely underpaid for 3 years because you got lucky on an extension or something, like, if you have that center depth for half of that contract to overpay those guys, do it. Like, that's what I did. Because I had Rautiala on ELC. Now I have Chan.
I mean, the problem is Koivunen is not that at that level. Like he's like a winger who is kind of like mid sevens, AVR in the last few years, and like 50, 60 points. Like not a star. He hasn't been like an 80-point producer or even a 70-point producer in years. So it's kind of like I don't get that like. Spending $12 million on that guy, it just seems like kind of a desperate move, and it is, I like it. It just could have. It wasn't necessary. I think. I don't know.
We talked about Dallas, how they're a good team except for centers. That's a little bit what I think about Winnipeg, except they're also less deep and have a better top end, I think. God knows. I think Winnipeg-Dallas is like the biggest toss-up ever. God knows that series for me.
Like, what do you resign Perfetti for? Like, someone's gonna sign him, but I don't know if he's gonna resign him. Perfetti probably wants around the same or something.
No, you let him go to UFA and hope that someone else doesn't outbid you. Like, you can't afford to pay him $7.5 and still think you can improve your team. So, you gotta hope that, like, Call, like Guertin, one of these guys has to step up next season. Or you have to hope that you don't get outbid on Perfetti. But I do like Bork, Marashev, and if Hodorovich is your fourth center, that's really not bad. Like, I don't think he's a bad player. He's just not a guy you want to give 15-plus minutes of ice time to every night.
If only Koivunen was the center, this team would be perfect.
I just think, I mean, knowing Joe, like he'll let Perfetti go, but just like go after whoever else the best centers on the market are. I don't know if there's anybody else good, but like that, I mean, Turcotte is available. Is going to be going to free agency in all likelihood. So like I don't know. Joe just like reloads at center when in doubt. So I guess that's what I expect him to do, is just like be a top bidder for centers. Although maybe spending this much money on his center and his wings, maybe he's kind of like that path is sort of done for him.
Perfetti is expiring this year too. There is
right, that's what we were just talking about. So it really, for me, it's like he's got one more season of Wallstead before he's up, and I'd be willing to bet you he'll try to extend him. But I think he will continue to attempt to compete as long as he's got Wallstead. So expect to see him active during the draft. He's got a first and a second, and then he's got some additional like second, third next year. You could probably package that up and get a good center.
Also, I'm assuming he played Colorado last season and lost 1-4 or something like that, but it could go easily the other way, especially with Wallstead, and that he's always been crazy in the playoffs. So
yeah, Wallstead's really good.
He is.
I don't know. Winnipeg, Dallas. I would pick Winnipeg. Team. Yeah, it's not like terrible or by any means. It's solid. It's just lacking in center depth.
Yep.
Also, PSA for everyone: you need to have 3 goalies at least signed.
Oh yes,
so, right. So technically, they're in breaking league rules. We've talked with them and whatnot, so like no issue. But like, make sure you have 3 goalies. Besides that, we have somewhat reservations on the Winnipeg Jets roster overall.
No.
Jeez, we're coming. Speaking of reservations,
Jesus Christ,
I'm Native American. I could say it. Speaking of reservations, the Chicago Blackhawks.
Sure, they've been lethal since the deadline. Not very notably, but they have been.
Have they?
Let's see, where do I have them overall?
They look like St. Louis when I took them over. Their defense are all 35 or older.
have
They've
them
lost
15th in offense, 10th in defense, 17th in net minding with an 899. So as almost league average as you can get with the including backups number as you can.
Now they've lost 3 games this month. 2 of them to shutout. How did they do last month?
The one that wasn't a shutout was to me. Oh no.
This team is solid, yeah. I like it. I don't adore it because, yeah, like Jordan was saying, this is an old team, fairly old.
I mean, yeah, I think they've kind of plugged some holes with some veterans that are not dead yet, but like not particularly good either.
Yeah, he paid for
like-
Cooley this.
He paid the
Right.
shit
free
out of Cool.
agency.
I saw a lot of
Yeah.
people saying this was like a terrible contract. Honestly, he only outbid me by like 500,000. I would pay the fuck out of Cooley. I like Cooley quite a bit.
Cooley's great.
Moore is playing insane as well. Like I messaged him after he was playing like absolute dog shit for the first like 7 games, and like, after I messaged him, he's like all 8 or 9, playing
Yeah.
really well.
Who's
now.
that? Sorry.
Olivier
Moore.
Moore.
And I told you guys at the beginning of the season. I remember Angus had said like, "Oh, yeah," I mentioned like, "Oh, this guy could have a really good breakout if he's on the right team." And then Angus was like, "Oh, the last time you said this was about X player," and it was true.
Jerome Brennan is a pretty solid pickup for them at the deadline. Not only is he signed for 5 more years, he's not a point a game, but he's pretty solid. That's a solid second line production right there.
Well, he's playing third line.
Oh, third
And
line?
they picked him up on the cheap.
And
They
he's
picked
been
him up
playing
for
center this
pennies.
entire time.
Well,
Yep.
he ended up paying a first for him plus, right?
Yeah,
It was a conditional first, and yeah.
Zegras
more
has
than a first.
55 points right now.
This is
Yeah,
also an
there's-
underratedly old team. Using the whole,
Yes.
only one player that was on the Avalanche that was 27. They also only have one player that's 27. The difference is that the Avalanche have won 3, perhaps 4, knock on wood, cups. The Chicago Blackhawks were, swept last year in the first round?
Yep.
Yeah. The thing with them too is Bugatti is like a new-ish GM. He's like
Right.
he's been in the league 2 years. He came in with the most decrepit fucking team imaginable. This shit was
Yep.
terrible.
Mhm.
They were a bubble team with no prospect.
Did he trade Brendan for Toporowski?
I traded Toporowski, maybe with the same picks. Because I got Topo for
No.
a first and a third.
Oh wow, he didn't keep him. So he got Brendan but traded Topor. Okay.
He's traded Toporowski to the Habs like a year ago, I think, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've had
shit.
Topo
Okay.
And I
for a
think
little
that
bit
was
now.
wasn't that a Furry deal or was that a Bugatti deal?
That was a Bugatti deal.
Okay.
Furry got Toporowski from
Ah, you're right,
Logan,
from Logan. Yeah, I remember. now.
and he had
Yeah.
like a pretty great year, and then
he talked shit
I don't
for
know.
12 months and then died. It was really funny.
And then yeeted himself out of the league.
I love what Chicago is doing with Chechelev, but what I love more is that yet another former Jordan player is sitting right by Chechelev, ready to step in next season in Hunter Jones.
Oh yeah, Hunter Jones is so good.
This is a guy that
I
Jordan-
doubted him so
No.
much.
Like, he was not going to let him go for any cheaper than what he was asking, and I thought it was fair. I just either couldn't or didn't want to pay it, if I misremember. He's a good player. I don't know if 2038 is a little bit past his prime, but I think he's going to get a shot next season. I think Chechelev's got to go.
Hunter Jones? He's
Yeah.
got 12 agility right now.
My
Yeah.
God.
I still think he's a
His
good
agility
player.
hasn't
And
ever
if
been
you-
high.
No,
Yeah,
he's
if you
always
put
Yeah,
it-
I mean, it
in front of
couldn't
him.
have been. I just wondered if it's going down.
Jordan
No, he
offered
looks-
me Jones for Gagin shots straight up once, 5 years ago, and I told him to, effectively to fuck off. And that is a big mistake on my part.
I think you were asking a second for Jones, right?
Yeah,
And
I
he
would
was
only
back-
trade him
he was
for a
back up
second.
at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of reservations around the league that he's just a backup. But I think he's a quality starter, a 1A, and if you put the right defense in front of him, he could be a really good goalie for next year.
Well, if you just put him in net, the more you play him, the better he gets. If you just run him, he plays really well.
I think that I was saying like some teams they should keep just trying to compete for a long time, and I think this one is the opposite, where it's like, it's the new GM, and sometimes you like kind of. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. It's a new GM, so sometimes you kind of like want to like give yourself a chance to compete. And and it's just like putting off a little bit a little bit like what has to be, which is this team needs to be torn down. I don't see a benefit to like finishing 7th or 8th with this team. Like I just think it needs to be torn down, and every year you're kind of losing any value you might be able to extract for the players that you have, like the older players that you have. So
Right,
I
they're an
don't
old team
know
that's pretty
about
mid.
this. Yeah,
I think
I
it's a
don't.
similar position that Logan was in, that he put himself in, really, was that he didn't have future assets, he didn't have prospects, he had an older core, and he didn't tear it down at the right time. So that's kind of what I see here is Chicago traded a conditional first next year for Brennan extending. They have a first this year, so you have a 2-year window and that's it. And they are projected over the cap for next season, not by a lot, but they aren't going to have any wiggle room. So
Yeah, I like his
core
team.
is together, and that's it.
I like
You
his
like it?
team a lot better than I like the teams above it, like
Dallas or
Winnipeg or
Winnipeg.
Arizona or Dallas. Yeah, I think especially with the additions, he's got old players, but his decor is really solid. Like lots of veterans, probably have lots of experience playing
Something that
playoff
might be
games.
an
His
issue.
centers, all of his centers are producing. It looks like all of his lines are going. Like if his goalie gets hot, you never know.
Something that I'm concerned about with them for next year is that their average cup salary is already $5 million above the salary cap, and they also have almost $5 million in cap penalties.
Oh, why? God damn it! What's
I
with
didn't
these
see their
teams?
cap penalties, but did you say 5 million or 5,000?
They're
Five
at 4
million.
million. They're at 4.6 million in cap penalties.
Oh, you're
Four
right.
point six
They're
million in
5
cap
million.
penalties and $4 million and $5,000 over the average club salary.
That's due to a Logan Marcoux $4.5 million raise next season, as well as he extended one more player, right? Yeah.
I mean,
Georgie
Logan Marcoux
Wooden.
is pretty good, so that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good investment. But Georgie Wooding, like, I think this guy is highly replaceable, and he gave him a double the
2.4.
pay for next season. So just a couple of hiccups. I think you can, like I say, he's not going to have a lot of wiggle room financially. So you're going to have to find a way to get creative with one of these contracts, break it down into a couple of rosterable players.
Who? George?
Maybe Luke Prokop.
Jason Robertson's getting over 2.5 for another 3 more years, and he's already 36.
Yeah, there's a couple of dead weight guys there.
We discussed Prokop. I think. Did he sign him as a UFA? I think he must have, right? 2034. So a couple years
July
ago.
7th. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we discussed him at the deadline. I mean, I could never fit this cap hit in, and I think I think he's a pretty decent like player. He's kind of fading, and yeah, I mean, but he was willing to give him away for pretty cheap, I thought. So I just didn't have the room for him, but I don't know what he's. In the couple of discussions I had with trading him, I couldn't really tell even what direction he was heading in. So, yeah, that was that's kind of like what I wonder. Like if maybe he's unsure, or he was trying to make up his mind at the trade deadline, but like making that deal for Brennan. I mean, I don't think Brennan is bad, but it's like you kind of have decided what your direction is, at least for a year or two.
Yeah.
I really like Brennan. I agree though. His team is kind of falling apart. They're way too old. Hey, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. That's the 2-year window, right? I think he's addressed that. Yeah, I've got a bit of a window here, and he can play it. If losing Chechelev, I don't think that's a huge blow at all. Like, I think he's quite replaceable. if you think Hunter Jones can step in and be that 1A and find a 1B for cheap and break down 2 of these contracts into depth players that can produce, he's got a good team. But then you got to sell like that trade deadline and find a way to retool or sell as much as you can the next summer and stop trading future assets, because otherwise you're going to wind up in the former Ducks territory that nobody wants to be in.
The Hawks are probably not at their apex, but probably pretty close to their apex, and they're pretty mid, and that's concerning.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, this is an old team. They're probably not going to get better.
Mm-mm.
And
they need
they're
a couple
only
good
mid.
drafts. They need a couple good drafts.
They're 8-1-1. They've won the last 5, but they're
Yeah. Well, you add a player like Heinola, and you got he's got a really good defensive core, but that's trade Prokop next season and break in some cheaper players with that salary, and you'll be all right. But you'll be all right for that 1 year, and that's it. Adam Fox 38, Prokop's 33. I didn't even realize he had Provorov on his team. Holy shit.
On waivers last year from Tampa or Florida, one of the two, I think.
he also is scratched most of the season.
Yeah, I mean, and at like what, 5-ish mil?
Yeah.
Over, but yeah.
Which is,
But
that's okay as long as you can make it work.
I mean,
But that's all the
yeah,
dead cap we're talking about.
right.
Not a good signing.
This is a team that's
No.
already over the cap for next year, and with Provorov still signed for next year, you know. But at least that makes it an easy target to figure out who you want to get rid of to get yourself under cap qualifications again.
I mean, here's an easy cap dump, right? Let's just dump Provorov on some guy.
Throw him on waivers.
I don't know if he's getting picked up off waivers at that cap hit.
Also, I mean, once he's in the minors, he doesn't matter. Also, I think it's kind of funny that they have Provorov and Luke Prokop on the same team, perhaps on the same pair. Imagine those two on the same pair. Yeah. Oh boy!
It's like a buddy cop movie.
Awkward.
Classic.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Chicago's prospects notably are like pretty bad. There's a lot of teams above them in the standings with better prospects. And this isn't on Bugatti at all. This is on the older GMs.
This is on Furry, and who was it before it? Marty?
Marty. Because Marty was pretty inactive, and Furry had like 1 draft, and it wasn't great. It was like Ricciardi, and this guy sucks. He's been offered to me a couple times, Ricciardi, but he is so bad. I hate this dude.
And he dealt Stigason to Anaheim.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was a new GM. Like Olsen or whatever.
Bugatti's actually been doing really good in ENHL.
Oh yeah.
He's
Bugatti's been doing really good.
He's actually made them a good team.
Okay.
Wow. He's second in the East right now.
Especially for a really new GM.
I really know.
Excuse me. Especially for a really new GM, he's been doing really well.
I don't have a feel for where has he been playing for a while? Is he new? I have no idea.
Definitely a new. I'm pretty sure.
I think he's pretty newer. Yeah.
Yeah.
GM.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't know about the waivers, as in didn't he waive Camasso a couple years, last year, or it might not have been Camasso. He waived a goalie last year.
He made a weird move with.
It was
Camasso
try to trade that got vetoed, and then he waived him because he didn't realize that.
Yes.
Right, and that was just last season.
Right.
Well, it made sense because Camasso had a fucking terrible contract. He was like 8 mil.
I'm not saying it didn't make sense, but I understand trying to get rid of him, but it's just evidence that he's a newer, at least online.
Mm-hmm.
Is Bugatti one of the Quebec francophone guys?
I don't know.
Is he a Canuck?
I have no idea. I honestly haven't spoken to him.
I see you. Jesus. I was trying to figure out how I was going to, do that, but already
not an easy one.
No. Alrighty, so the Vancouver Canucks, then I assume, right? So Vancouver, I have as 20th in offense, 21st in defense, 6th in netminding, believe it or not.
Wow,
so,
really?
Billsburger's been
Billsburger and Malik.
okay,
Malik?
Nick Malik's been awful, but he's also only played 6 games, and that's probably why their team stats as a whole aren't the worst.
I mean,
They've
Bills
been
Bigger
wild,
hasn't
Bills
really
Bigger.
been that good either. I mean, he's
He's been
9-11 save
9-10.
percentage.
No, but also my model like overvalues goalies that get shelled simply
A lot of
because
volume,
they face
yeah.
a lot of volume, right?
Right.
If we're being realistic, this is the point where the West jumps off a cliff, right? Like this 8 seed, whoever it was going to be, this was a race for a long time. Hell, Nashville could still take it. Vancouver's not been good of late, but
Neither is Nashville.
this is not a good team, but they have a lot of young pieces. They're one of those.
What do we think about the trade that was like vetoed and reworked, like in
The
retrospect?
Day trade, bad still. Like the thing is, Descourtier is not that good. He had 1 good year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Decortio was. I mean, to me, the idea that he was ever going to be the difference or like a person that put a team over the top wasn't. I didn't like that. But that being said, here Vancouver is in a playoff spot, which was like the thing that like the worst thing would be them have a top 10
9.
pick and lose it.
Yep.
I disagree with y'all. Honestly,
Talking about
I think
the Buffalo trade,
Decourtois is pretty solid, especially since the only time he's been on a good team was when he was with the Sabres, and he was sick then. Before that, he was with the Ruby Senators, and we saw how often Ruby checked her lines. He played in France for a year because I assume Ruby just forgot to sign him on a contract. I think he might be pretty okay on a good team. He's not a driver, but I feel like he's a really good compliment.
Well, hey, I mean, on a bad team to have 40 points in 74 games.
Very true, right.
It's very good. Like, this is a guy that is signed for another 2 years at a very reasonable cap hit for a player of his caliber. And then you could probably extend him for another 2 to 4 years if you really wanted to. So I liked the pickup at the time because there was term, age, and a need. So I didn't hate it. I'm not in love with the direction. But like Chris said, it makes sense when you've got a protected pick. Like you're either going to go hard and keep that pick or make a push and try to get some young guys some experience. Well, the problem is I don't see young guys on this roster worth getting experience.
Yeah.
Not many.
Is this the Vancouver trade where it's the first for this guy?
Yeah, Descourtier was a first, a second, Almlo.
I hated that trade for Vancouver. I thought it was just the worst, and I didn't understand why they did it when I was looking through their team and everything. I couldn't understand. I drafted the player. Like I drafted Descourtier. I think he's good, but I don't like it for him. I don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't like the direction. That was the only thing I didn't like.
It's probably fair really value, but not fair direction, if that makes sense.
Right? Yes. I feel really bad for Ethan just because this team has been terrible for so long. Like, they were in hell. They were in complete hell.
I'm also not sure how active Ethan actually is on a day-to-day, right?
I don't know about a day-to-day, but I feel like he's got, calendar moments set in his phone. Like, this sim is going to happen on this day. I need to be active for these 2 days before it. Like, free agency, draft, he's in on it. Like, trade deadline, he's active.
Yeah, he's not an active GM.
No, but when, for instance, basketball and baseball leagues that I'm in, you have to post your depth chart. You have to post your lineup so you can see when someone is inactive. You might log in for 5-10 minutes and just go right to your team and not look at the GMs online, so you can't really see, is Vancouver ever online when I'm online? You don't really have a gauge for activity level on that rate.
You're still.
I mean, I also think when you're rebuilding, especially if you're not really into rebuilding, but you're just doing it, sometimes it's just okay, we just gotta let a few seasons pass here while my players improve,
He's got Savage, and there's one other winger. Is it Paredes is already 28. He's got 2 wingers that are 23, 24.
Shinkovich is. I mean, I don't know what he's going to end up being, but I think there's PA there, and there's I mean, right now I have the player comp is Brian Van Horn, who okay, that makes sense to me.
That's his upside.
kind of like a talented but somewhat underwhelming, like performing winger, but like but like still good, just not like great.
Noted piece of the Austin Matthews trade, Noel Shinkovich.
Something to note with the Canucks is that Joe and I actually were talking about this right before we started recording, was that Linus Berglund is not only their first line center, I think, but he also leads their team in points. He doesn't look that good. And he leads his team in points with 60 points in 74 games. Not only is that not a point per game player from a first line player, it's not even really close to being a first line player for a first line player, right? Point per game player for a first line player.
He's their second line C right now.
Second line C, regardless. That's still their top player points wise. Right? And that's not ideal.
Vancouver is for sure, whoever was making it as the 8th seed this year was capitalizing on the fact that the West is trash. We're about to get to the big old trash heap that's the other half of the West. But man, no, Vancouver is not great. I like a lot of their prospects. I liked Almlo a lot. I really wish they didn't move him, just because I really think Almlo could have been a future like true guy. Did the game just fucking crash?
I think it did. Yeah, it looks like it crashed on save.
Oh,
no, we're good. We're good.
Hey,
Yeah.
podcast. We're back.
I just want to say.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I just want to say, like, I think that they have a lot of players coming up, and they already have a lot of players on their team. And I think together we might have like 10 players, and you can kind of fill out your roster with just UFAs and a few trades. Like, I think he's in a pretty strong position. I don't think any of his prospectors are like game breakers, but
there's a lot of
okay spot.
I don't know. I think I think there's a game breaker or two in there. I don't know if Rossi is it, and that's the guy you want to be the game breaker because he's the center.
Locon.
Yeah, but like Juberg, LaRose, is it Shimmick?
Juberg looks good, but he's 2A. Who is he?
Greg is Ricard Raquel.
I think as a two-way guy, he's a mid-6 guy who's probably still going to get you points actually with that build. So I think he can help shelter a good underperforming or like overperforming, not quite like a guy like Berglund. You could pair those two together and then one high-end winger. I don't know if that was in his mind when he traded for Descourteaux as like this will all come together. It's not going to be this year. It's not going to be next year. But
yeah, I kind of agree with that logic. Like, if he sees himself like in 5 years and he keeps this guy, I think it's a good player. But I just don't like the price at the time.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't mind we were talking about Dallas and like kind of like taking a big step forward, but he went out and got Milmar. Like, getting Billisberger is not doing what Dallas did. Like that's my issue with it. Is like that's not going to set you forward. It's not. It's tricking yourself into thinking that you're doing that when you're not actually doing that.
Billy's enough to snipe the 8th seed, but not enough to do much else.
Yeah.
I had Billisberger ranked 9th between Hammerla and Dubois, but that's probably because he's played more than either Hammerla or Dubois.
Probably.
I like Nordstrom looks real good.
Low con though, unfortunately.
Low con, but he's playing well. I mean,
and there's also a defenseman, so it doesn't matter as much.
He's 23, and he's a good defenseman who will pass 40 points probably this year.
Look at his fucking shot, dude. Look at his shot.
Yeah.
Like, his texts are stupid.
Low con or not, at 23 with a righty shot, like that's a guy that you would expect can drive the second pair with low con.
Right.
If his con isn't that low, like he can help a top line, a top pair.
None of my scouts have picked up on his low con. I just know what it is because when I did the most recent prospect tier list, I guess, or like I think I did, I had him as an S tier, which probably I didn't realize the low con because I didn't see it at the time either. So I don't think.
I drafted him 2nd overall, and I was like, this guy looks too good.
Wasn't he the Klingberg regen then?
He's Klingberg, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Klingberg on this DP is like 180. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's gonna be a great player, and that was the other guy I was thinking of. They've got two good guys, 23 and 24 years old. So
They all
direction's there.
another good prospect is Nolan Crowder from last year. Pretty sure it's John Gaudreau, but he's Canadian, so I mean, never sure when they change nationalities. It's hard to be super certain that it's that person, but that player, but it looks like him
Yeah, it's
to me.
Hard to have 5-star PA and not be a high
Right.
in this DB.
They have Romanov scratched, and he's signed for this year and next at 6.5.
How did they?
And look, Zachary Gay. Who wasn't he in the he was in a big deal
trade. The point trade. In which, like many other players, he was taken by the Lightning and not qualified, and then was actually good. So,
and he was also in the Bedard trade.
Yep, because you just stole him off the Lightning, not qualifying him. Like they didn't. You stole. You're the winner of that fucking trade. You took like 4.
Agent and looked kind of good.
You won that trade. You won the Braden Point to Buffalo trade. It was Colorado. That was the winner.
So, Vancouver has $50 million in cap next season.
Yeah, they're fine. They got so much cap.
This team could be good.
I don't think any of us are ever doubting on them for the future. I think we're doubting on them for this season.
Oh,
transgression.
They're going to get obliterated by Colorado. But realistically, you're just happy to be there.
They're going to be playing me.
True. You're just happy to be there if you're Vancouver. You're like, fuck it. Let's get some important games on Nordstrom and Savage. Hell, call some guys up. Fuck it. Just get them the important games too. I don't think Abbotsford is like that good.
Joe, are you're going to make up 6 points in the next 7 games?
No, well, Vancouver's Pacific, so he'd be playing either me or San Jose.
Right. You're right.
Colorado would be playing Chicago.
All right.
No, that's not how that works for the wild card.
4 points, but
yeah, it's just wild card 2. It would be wild card 2.
Oh, I
Colorado
versus Vancouver.
I thought it would just be Pacific against the Pacific.
That's only if you have the star next to the name.
Yeah, right.
So now we've finished the Western playoff teams. Colorado versus Vancouver. Colorado, right?
Easy. Colorado in 4. Colorado in 3, dude.
LA, Chicago. LA, right?
Vancouver.
LA in 3.
It's just forfeit first round.
We all go in top seeds for this? San Jose, Arizona, I think? Or is it San Jose?
No, Winnipeg wins.
I have Winnipeg over Dallas.
Winnipeg over Dallas. Okay. San Jose, Arizona. San Jose?
San Jose.
The thing is, that fucking top 3, man, they're so much better than any other team in the conference.
Jordan seemed to be the most confident, or like Chicago the most. Jordan, do you think there's a chance that Chicago
that
can
LA
win that?
blows it somehow?
This is the goaltending. If Hunter Jones comes in and is actually good in the playoffs,
if Hunter Jones comes, that's a tough ask, buddy.
You're gonna speak it into existence.
Have Hunter Jones outplay Carter Hart.
Like Hunter Jones.
I mean, because the other guy,
Carter Hart.
Chichalev's playoffs is actually not bad. Didn't we talk about this?
Chichalev could be.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Where do I have Chichalev rank-wise?
Yeah, I think they have a strong team. I don't know if they beat LA. I think LA is kind of in a little bit lower than Colorado and San Jose to rank the 3. But yeah, I mean Chicago, I really like their team. I think their forward group is really good. I like their defense. I think their goaltending is kind of a mystery, and LA's goaltending is kind of a mystery too. So
my recommendation to Chicago GM would be play Hunter Jones no matter what. Get him his imp matches. And play for next season.
He's probably too old to really develop for important matches.
Yeah, he's 35.
Right? He's 35 at this point, but
never stopped, dude.
His agility's already 12.
Never stopped.
He's done next year. I think this is his last year.
No,
probably.
I'm bringing him in.
You bringing him in? Okay.
When he goes
You're gonna place.
He's retiring.
Replace an Ottinger with Hunter Jones. Nothing could go wrong.
We're gonna have a 37-year-old backup every year until Havlicek dies.
I mean, it's one way to keep that position cheap. Is to just sign an old guy who's on the doorstep of retirement. Trying to keep it cheap. I hate expensive backups. I never want to have a $1.8 million backup, but
What about a $10.8 million backup?
I mean, he's not your backup.
Well, Ottinger is.
Yeah, Hunter Jones is a little long of the tooth.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I think like this is like the let's say something nice portion of the analysis here. It's like, so what do you folks, what do we think about Nashville's performance this year? Does it matter?
Dude, I have to let me go off for a bit. This team got so fucked by the AGM. Their playoffs, if they have a GM all year. If Colton is here and like awake, they make playoffs. Look at Mikhail Ravi. This guy lost them a playoff spot because the AGM was like, I love this stand-up dog shit goalie. Let's play him 32 games. He's an 883. Gare has like a 915. What the fuck, man?
Rabby, I have himself costing the Nashville Predators 5 wins. So that's what, 10 points? And that's against league average, not starter average, right?
Yes.
So it's at least 10 points that they've cost the Predators. That's not only
10 points,
a
they're
playoff
miles
spot.
ahead of Vancouver.
Not only is it a playoff spot, but like that's a playoff spot with him being league average, not playoff spot with him being starter average, which would probably be closer to the Winnipeg, Arizona echelon. Right.
I think Jeff Keelty, who's their AGM, is the original DB AGM, and maybe am I wrong to say John Hines is the coach of the Nashville Predators?
Yes,
John
these
Hines
are the
is the
same
coach.
fucking guys.
So they have the original AGM and head coach.
And only
of
2 head scouts, and only 2 assistant coaches.
Yeah, so it's just like been a attrition like staff that just kind of like slowly gets old and dies off.
That's crazy to think of, because that leads you to think that this team has been like mismanaged, undermanaged. But
and it was Dano the entire time.
But Dano was always such a good drafter to me. I feel like he always had the player that I wanted on his list. He never wanted to trade the player that I wanted because he knew he was going to be good, or maybe he didn't like my offer enough or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes he'd just be like, "No, I'm not trading that guy." And he doesn't do anything with his personnel ever.
Mm-hmm.
He is no scout.
60-year-old scouts.
He's just good.
He just
He's
resigns
godlike.
guys.
Dan Heino is an assistant coach, and Dan Heino is not a name I've heard about in a long time. For those of you who don't know, Dan Heino was like a late 90s, early 2000s defensive forward.
Yeah, wow. For Colorado and those Cup teams with Sakic, and he played for the Oshawa Generals when I used to watch OHL hockey when I was a kid.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked I'll just say I like Nashville. Like, this team was always solid, I think, based on the fact that they had a pretty good D-core and goalie, and the forwards were always kind of just like a group of guys that, you know, barely, like, you just didn't look like no one looked like anybody special, but they were solid enough. Sometimes like they would win a round or two. But like, yeah, it shows that you, like, if you build a strong D-core and you have a good goalie. I mean, obviously Askarov is a very good goalie. I think you can still be a pretty, like, if that's all you have, you'll be a pretty good team.
Yeah. This team is, like, they look thin as fuck. Their wing depth, right, like, coming up is thin. I don't know how they went from how they wound up with Guerre instead of
Askarov. This was a pretty bad trade by Dano. It was Askarov for like Guerre and a first or something.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like he just given up, and it was kind of like a last, maybe I'll do this, like, half-hearted move.
Guerre first, really like second, Marceau DaCosta.
DaCosta, okay.
So effectively, not a lot, especially since it's Florida's first and it's Florida's second.
Well, how long ago was that though? Because DaCosta
Last
could have
season?
been good.
last year.
It was last year at the
That
deadline.
deadline, yeah.
Damn. All right. Yeah, he got fleeced in.
And Brewer wasn't even
and
good
then,
last
and then he
season.
quit a couple months later,
Yeah.
or a
that's
couple weeks later, I guess.
Yeah, and then the AGM cost this team a damn playoff spot.
I really like the Allard and Salkield ads. I think they're strong. I don't know how he got Salkield working or performing that well, but
Wasn't
He was on
that,
he was on my
waivers?
team, and yeah, he was a waiver pickup for me.
Yeah, you had more room for him, I guess.
Yeah, when I traded for Paisley, he was the one who I had to take off.
He doesn't even look like
I
a guy who could be a 7 AVR guy.
no.
He has consistently.
If his team didn't have Ravi in net the whole time, he'd probably over 7. He would probably be over 7 next season with a better goalie.
Damn.
If his team is winning, he's going to be over 7. He's producing
shit.
well enough.
With Philly,
I agree about Allard. I was a defender of the Allard trade. I think that he's like, I don't know why people I feel like I see Grum like defending centers that look just like this pretty frequently, and
Yeah, how far
And-
is different
His
is
deal, he's
Allard
not
from
pulled
Bo Clark, right?
yeah, exactly. So I don't know why he thinks Allard is so shit, but like I feel like just like look at these like all these like 10s and 11s, and they turn into 12s and all. I'm not saying that makes this guy that much of a player, but I think perception of how good a player he is will change very quickly, and then it'll like stop being about what his ats look like and more about what the performance is. And his performance has been good. Like it's
In Nashville, yeah.
I'm not saying great, but like he had 50 points last season. He's got 42 points this season, and like the AVR is in Nashville at least is going up from last year. Like he's going in the right direction. I think in a couple of years, people
Next
said,
season,
"Oh,
if
well,
Allard
the
is
contract."
Sorry,
Pardon
go
me?
for it, bud. Next season, if Allard's a point per game player with like a 7.2 AVR, are any of us really that surprised by it?
no.
Not
Like,
really.
I
Allard?
I don't
I thought
think
he
it'll
sucked.
happen that quickly, but I think he's still like worth a late first round pick where he is, because I think he's on the verge of being
No.
No.
He's worth, I'd say, 2 firsts.
Okay.
At least.
All right.
I'd say like
I
30
wasn't saying he
firsts.
wasn't worth that. I'm saying he's
At
not
least,
not
right.
worth a first round pick. I think he's a he looks like he'll be a good player quite soon. And I don't know necessarily if he'll be like a first line caliber center, but a second line caliber center on a good team, I could see that easily.
The only reason that I
all-
voted to veto was because I didn't agree with the direction for a new GM
Right.
creating a pick.
Sure.
But I said that if he got a top 6 role with the right line mates, that he might grow into a really good player. And he's playing with Palat and Tatari, so yeah, he's got a shot that he didn't get in Dallas to really grow here.
This guy is going to grow in a couple months. He's going to be all green, and everyone's going to think in like maybe 2 or 3 seasons that this guy is like one of the best players. Like close. I think he's going to go point per game.
Damn.
Unfortunately, I did not think he'd be this good, and I did not trade for him. So
I traded him for Josh Morrissey, I think, back in the day.
Ooh.
Let's see.
Right, you picked them in the top 10, right?
Yep, top 10 pick.
Colton Sidlowski, Toby Stevens, Allard, and some guy for Morrissey in a 4th.
Effectively,
I'll
the only
say
person
my-
of anyone of note would be Allard and perhaps Kimball, because he is an NHL player, but he's like a defensive winger that plays depth.
That feels like
The only thing I don't like is that he's 25, and my scouts have him as
4-star.
he's reached his potential at 5 stars, which like they could be wrong, and maybe I just need to rescout him. But like, if he's not going to grow much more, I don't think that's right. But if it's true that he's reached his peak, well then that's not good.
My scout actually went backwards on him.
Damn,
Right.
really?
He used to have him as capped as an excellent player, and now he's gone down to a good prospect who is already playing like a proven veteran. So the PA is a little bit volatile there to me, and that's a fresh scout report.
I have a scout report from him from 17 days ago, from a previous scout that said he was only a good prospect as an excellent player. So like my scout went from 12/28/35 saying he's a good prospect playing a proven veteran to 3/12/36. Same scout saying he's recommended as an excellent player. So he may be out right on that line of 4 and 5 stars.
I mean, I have him as 5 stars, and the comp is Scott Roof. I don't know. I think sometimes when a player like gets scouted and he doesn't happen to be playing that well, he like the scout, has a more skeptical opinion of him, and then when he's playing well, you have a more rosy-eyed opinion of him. So I think that like those 4-star, I think he's legit a like 5-star. I just don't think he's reached his potential yet. So that I think he's going to come up like if you look at Scott Roof, like that's probably more like what we're looking at with Allard in a couple years.
If he only adds like 10 points worth of techs, he's a potential top line center with good line mates, but he's a really good second line center with one good line mate.
Yeah,
I think Jordan's right on. Like he could easily go point per game, and in 2 years, people are going to be like, "Well, shit, that's a top line center that would have cost me pick 25 or whatever."
Well, I didn't expect him to get 11 points in 15 games. I didn't think the trade was good at the time. But if he's doing this and simming 8s and 7s, and his morale's low, then he can figure it out.
I assume Jordan, like your thing is you're hunting for this exact type of player.
For sure.
Yeah, so it's like when you didn't take advantage, and now you're kicking yourself for not going after him.
Yeah,
I'm having the exact same regret.
I'm not saying I hadn't already tried to trade for him multiple times, but I did not value him appropriately.
It's wild.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll find out. I kind of see him as like a 60-ish point center. I think he could top 70 in the right circumstances, but I don't really see him as point per game like ever. Mostly because his like anticipation is kind of low. It won't get much more than like add like 3 more points at max, and that only takes him to like low teens. So I don't know if I see him as like a real like offensive force, but I could be wrong.
He's also one of those fake French Canadians, Jean-Michel Ayard from Whitby, Ontario.
What? Whitby? Really? Okay.
Fucking him and Antoine St. Pierre are the most fake French players.
At least I think Marc-Antoine St. Pierre is from the French part of Ontario. This dude is from fucking Whitby. Like, let me find St. Pierre, because let me see where he's from. Who the fuck is he on?
I think he's from an outskirt of, like, Ottawa. So, like, it's not crazy, but, like, not right.
I'll tell you, because that's where I live, so. But I can't. St. Pierre must have that.
Pierre. I just searched Pierre. Let's see if I can find him.
No, I'm just wrong. Yeah, it's... I'm straight wrong.
Where is he from?
Long Sault. S-A-O-S-A. Long Sault, I suppose this would be.
It's like, it's on the St. Lawrence River, maybe like an hour from Ottawa. It's definitely not Francophone, though.
Yeah, it's not the French part. Well, I'm wrong. These fuckers. Especially Whitby, though. Like, seriously? He's from Whitby and his name is Jean-Michel Allard? Like, come on.
Yeah,
There's a reason I drafted him specifically. I was like, "Oh, that's a French Canadian right there. I got to make sure to pick him up." And no shit.
No, he's from fucking Ontario.
Whitby, goddamn.
I mean, the last thing I'll say, but I mean, I like that this new GM at least came in and made a move, which I have no idea what Colton's experience is. I think it's pretty limited with this, and he made what I think is kind of a bold move and to go after, like if you said, hey, this this new GM came in with this team that is rebuilding, and he made a bold move for a talented center. Like that sounds like that's like a pretty good instinct. So
Sounds like Jason.
What are you talking about, Jason?
Yeah, that was
But I mean, I think Colton is.
Oh, Colton does have some experience.
Right? Yeah.
Colton
does he? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, that's good. Someone knows him.
Yeah.
Last note on Nashville, they have some good fucking prospects. I do want to mention that. I love Theo Cannell. I think Cannell is fantastic.
That's Eric Carlson, I think, right?
Holy fuck, really? Well, now I like him even more.
Already
I
at
didn't know
20
that.
with an 18 tech is pretty solid.
That's the player that I was most upset. Dano did not let me trade for that pick when Cannell was there and the pick was on the clock.
Damn.
That was the last straw in that broke this camel's back. But I will not stop in attempts to acquire him.
I mean,
you're just gonna spam Colton every day, please, man. Please give me Cannell.
No,
is it that that Dano is like still trying, like, because all his best prospects, in my opinion, are defense. Lovegren, I think, I'm not positive about this one, is Hampus Lindholm. And then Buck Habshed is somebody else, like, good. He just keeps drafting like kind of high end D. Or has been. That's what Dano is doing. Obviously, not in control there anymore.
Right.
Keep a Nashville tradition of having good defense.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes picking up a D is the best way to go because they have really high PA and no one wants them.
Right, it's
I
true.
think, for what it's worth, I quite like LeBlanc Mallory too. I think he's a pretty good fucking winger.
He's like was he a draftee or an overager?
Drafty. He is
first round.
15.
Oh yeah, okay.
Middle of the round. Like, he seems solid. He seems all-around winger. High con. Not bad. Solid.
I think Isako Heldner is Mulligan.
Oh, great.
Dennis Mulligan.
Great. Oh, that's so good. Hell yeah. That's like 140 PA, maybe. So I guess the prospect pool isn't as deep as I thought it was. But that top, like, 5 or so, I quite like all of them.
Yeah.
His players are all 27, 28, 25.
Yep.
Like,
He has
for the
some young
center group.
pieces.
So it's a good situation, I think.
This is buildable. Like,
He's not going
it's
to age
gonna be
out.
through. No. And
Speaking
frankly, this is already a playoff caliber team.
Right.
Speaking of good prospect pools, Minnesota. What's next?
They have one that's absolutely wild.
Oh, well, hey. You guys shit on my team. Let's hear it.
All right. So overall, I have the Minnesota Wild as 22nd in offense, 15th in defense, 25th in net with a 884, worth minus 10 wins on the season. Take away goaltending, I have them 19th. So it's not much better, but like
Gagan stonks.
Gagan shit. Hey, you have two former Montreal Canadiens goalies in that right now.
I do. I'm the Habs.
How did you not trade Ekblad, Draisaitl, or
There's nobody even fucking bothered. I was so mad. Like, seriously, none of you want these guys. Like, these guys are top end, especially Ekblad. Like, seriously?
Yeah,
I mean, I just can't afford any of them.
I can't afford
dollars
any of them.
and cents. Yep, it's just dollars and cents. Right.
Man.
If I didn't spend $10 million on a backup goalie, I would have been in on Draisaitl.
Yeah, that's the thing is I wanted to shed these guys so bad. I really wanted to. I did the thing that you do when you're desperate, where I DM'd a bunch of playoff teams, being like, "Please, man, give me what do you want, please, dude." Like,
10 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, I at the end of the deadline, I was like, "Drive for a third. I don't give a shit."
Fuck, man. I wish I could do that. That's the thing. Like, I wish I could.
Even
That's
Dawson Mercer, like, somebody should have wanted him.
Ben McCarthy,
I could.
there's pieces.
I wish I could have taken Ekblad, but I can't take that 11 mil.
Yeah, it's a fucking. I mean, Ekblad, I paid the fuck out of to hit the floor. So
like with the whole Peltier trade that was vetoed and then done again and not vetoed, it was probably for very similar reasons why you couldn't trade Aaron Ekblad, right? Because Peltier was getting 13 something, right? And I had no buyers except for just Jordan, right?
Yep. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's a kind of a balance that you have to strike, right? When you're doing that little, that plan where you like buy UFAs, but like you have the ability to bid everybody else, but then eventually you have to sell them, and if you've spent too much, then nobody can buy them anymore. It's a tough one.
Yeah,
it was the right move. I mean,
yeah,
you did exactly what Columbus has been doing.
yeah,
and,
agreed. I mean, it also doesn't matter as much. Like I don't think it. Maybe it'd be nice to have like netted another first or something, but I mean, it didn't cost you anything really.
Yeah.
And your winger and defense prospect pool looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Like Fitzsimmons, my pick, Fitzsimmons.
He's quite good. He's struggled a little bit in his rookie year, but he's pretty fucking good. He'll come into his own.
Yeah, that's the reason that I couldn't have fucking Cam Nagel, by the way, because he has Fitzsimmons and he wants to play him with a good D-man. So thanks, Joe.
Also, Schneider's winning the Calder this year, right?
Yeah, no
so
doubt.
Easily, yeah.
I mean, I like Schneider. I think we've seen a couple things the last couple of days where some of these prospects are, and it's premature to say maybe that they're speeding up a little bit in their development, but there are some nice signs of like players that are like, okay, you only have to wait a year or two or even 3 for them to be relevant, not like 5 or 6 like people have kind of come to be used to. So I don't know. I'm liking the sign of like the way some of these guys are looking like and how they're being brought in.
We discussed that in chat actually earlier about how we're seeing some, and it's really like special case scenarios where some of these guys are looking ready and brought into the right scenario and grow rapidly, age 20, age 21, age 22, before like that, okay, well, fuck, I hope this guy's going to be good by the time he's got to clear waivers to go back down, because that's the way it's been, right? So I think we're seeing more of the high PA guys, the guys who like look ready and are brought in and nurtured under the right circumstance to become good quicker.
I think if some players aren't like brought in, okay, so at the beginning when we first started this, we didn't know no tactics, and we didn't know that some like other like OHL or whatever wouldn't be simmed. So we didn't know to sign anyone right away to develop them, because otherwise some players develop and some players don't, and that's why we've had so many weird players, I guess, because we just didn't. I don't think we knew, and then we kind of figured it out, or someone figured it out.
Right. I mean, I think it's a double-edged sword. Like I've seen players that I was maybe too aggressive in bringing them up, and they just struggled, and they've gone backwards, if anything. So, like, yeah, you can't just be like, okay, and anytime I have like every prospect should come to the AHL or like right away. Like that just doesn't. I don't think it's as simple as that, but like definitely there's some better ways to handle high-end prospects that we're kind of maybe all as a group like kind of like learning how to treat in a ways that'll like make them ready faster. And yeah, if you can, I think the key is also like put them on a solid line with 2 good players, and if they have the talent, like they're gonna take off, but you just have to watch it closely, look at what the coaches and people, your coaches are saying about them. You got to do that work, but like it's not just gonna happen. You actually have to be careful with them. So, but yeah, I like the trend of seeing some of these guys like are ready a lot faster than they have been.
Well, from so far from what I've seen, it's mostly the guys who are regens of high-end players, so they have some form of
Mhm.
PA, and usually those guys come in with like a good amount of CA, where they're coming in as current players who are capable of, like Chambers destroyed the AHL for a whole season, and then brought him up and catered to him and put him on the wing, right, as Jordan suggested, and it worked out. Like,
Mhm.
give him 6 sims on the wing, and then he slid into center when I had an injury. He didn't play great, but he played well enough that, okay, well, put him back on the wing, and then now he's like probably center 1 for us next year.
Instead of the MVP.
Quick shout out to Jesper Bratt for being the only plus player on the Minnesota Wild with a +1.
He just got traded there, no?
Yes, he's played
6. Look at his physicals, dude. What is this?
has an average time on ice of under 10 minutes.
He needs a walker.
He really does. This is a cap dump.
Only plus player.
Yeah, I mean, notably, my power play has been like actually really good this year. Weirdly, I'm like top 10 in the league, which is very strange because I shouldn't be top 10 in any. I'm fifth in power play percentage.
You're above me.
Look at Tataryn, like tearing up the AHL.
Tataryn
almost APA.
There's a lot of good prospects on this team. It's
but like you also rarely see anyone put like forwards, especially I find, put up APA AVR in the AHL.
I got the amount of shots Tataryn has in the AHL right now.
Almost 300. Yeah, and he could surpass 50.
I don't know how your prospects chart it scales with PA, but I really like Wu, and he doesn't show up at all. So,
oh yeah, Wu is a very interesting player because he's low con and not playing like it. He's over a point a game, 7.6 as a center. Like, he's playing center full time. So I don't know how he's actually doing this. He's low con.
Oh wow, he really does woo you.
Yeah.
Is it Tataryn?
Could just be getting carried.
Is it Tataryn like just pounding his like passes in all the time? Like, he's got 62 assists, so like has he been playing with Tataryn mostly?
Yes, the line in the AHL was Laverdure, Tataryn, Wu. That was the line.
So I wonder if that's it. Like, and he just has enough playmaking skill that it's just like working.
It's still
well.
He's still an interesting prospect. Especially my wingers and my defense prospects are the real thing. So if I can find anybody at center, I'm ecstatic to do anything, really.
Tataryn is currently second in shots and goal in the AHL, but he's also a very distant second.
Tataryn's like bouncing the puck off Wu.
Has 350 shots. I don't understand that.
Damn.
350, Jesus.
349, and the season's not even over. But
what a psycho! That's awesome.
Where did you select this guy? Oh, you traded for him. How'd you get this
guy? Mitchkov trade.
Oh,
one of the many. Okay. Thank you, Grum. Shout out, Grum.
Grum.
You cleaned house.
I don't know. Ill-advised, in my opinion. Always was. Like, even if he wanted to make this trade, I don't think he needed to trade as many good players as he did for them. Like, he could have taken two great prospects out of that trade, and it still would have been doable, I think, from the Minnesota perspective.
Yeah, Angus had an offer similar to what you're proposing. Angus and Grum were the two that were really in on Mitchkov. And Angus gave me an offer similar to what you're describing, and then Grum sent me this, and I was like, sorry, Angus, you physically can't beat this. Give me Chambers, you can't beat it.
Give me Chambers, you can't beat it. That's...
I couldn't blame you. I couldn't hold it against you. It was like, all right, well, I shot my wad, and I just can't justify trading Chambers. The idea was to put
Chambers and Mitchkov or something.
Yeah, Rautiala and Mitchkov for a couple of seasons, and I thought I might lose on Rautiala. That was before he really No, that was the season he exploded.
That contract. When I saw what you extended Rautiala for, like, my jaw dropped. I'm like, oh my god.
He was not willing to sign.
Oh, you had to do it? Good job.
I offered him what I offered, and I was like, please fucking sign this, and he signed it. I was like, okay, cool.
Oh. That's nice. It's a nice feeling.
I thought I was doing well offering Krebs straight up for Michkov. You know?
Yeah, no, this deal. I was talking about this off the pod. I was saying that if I didn't do that Michkov trade, I would be in hell. My prospects would be so fucking bad. I came in with a decrepit prospect pool.
You'd be singing the blues if you weren't.
Ooh.
Okay, on that note, I have to go, guys, but it's been fun.
Awesome,
See you,
buddy.
Angus.
All right, see.
Have
It's
a
a
good
shame
one,
you'll miss
Angus.
this one.
Thanks, you too. Later.
He didn't want to talk about the Blues.
Oh, you don't? You want to talk about the Wilgo Soderlund led St. Louis Blues?
Yeah. I mean,
mean-
I haven't even looked at like what the players on their team are doing this year. I'm looking for the first time now.
Top point producer is Joris Barbero at 47
Right.
points, not even 20 goals.
We talked about there's kind of two types of rebuilds. There's Columbus, where you get all the UFAs, you try to build it, and there's St. Louis, where you burn it and your team is a dumpster. St. Louis is a dumpster with like 300 draft picks.
Yeah,
They have so
mean,
many draft picks. Yeah.
I don't like I guess it's easier in that I didn't have to do it because I don't think I wouldn't have done this. I mean, the Millmore, we were talking about it a little bit today in our Discord. Like the idea that you would have Rybakov and Millmore, and you would trade both of them
Have neither.
and not have like a marquee prospect or a player that you like. Okay, there's picks, but they're mostly like late first round picks. You don't have if you trade those kind of goalies, you have to tell yourself, I'm gonna get something that's gonna be something that I can build around, and it's just not there. That's I don't know. That's
I think
that's a big miscalculation on two important players, and that's just kind of sadly what Logan's management. I mean, he also did bring in some good players. I think he did have some success in bringing in players that maybe were undervalued and actually did perform well. But I also think that all of his assets were just being traded down to get less and less and less. And yeah, I don't know. That's not a good way to manage.
This is a true build from scratch with a ton of picks.
Yeah.
The prospect pool is pretty thin. It's Pancioccio, Berg, Manabrat, Kazoo, and then after that it's just a pile of shit. I think it's realistically 4 good prospects, and one of them is.
I don't even think it's that. I don't have any faith in any of those players being a player that I can, really rely on being a good player. So I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind once I've seen them a little bit more, but I don't believe in it. I don't have really anything to hang my hat on here. If I feel
true, it is a true build from scratch. You got the ton of picks, and that is something you can do work with. And I haven't really had to do that playing online here. I've never rebuilt. I mean, I've kind of taken a team from young to a contender and done that, but I've never done the full rebuild. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, the thing I want to mention with the Millmore trade is having a guy like that, just like a goalie, man. Even if they're putting you up a few points in the standings and it'll lose you a couple draft spots, you could be St. Louis with Millmore on a rebuild, or you could be me, where your goalie is Gagan and you desperately need an answer. I want to compete soon. I can't. I need a good goalie. I will not be able to compete with Gagan. That's where St. Louis is when they want to compete, they'll need to find a goalie because goalie development is so slow. Even if you draft a goalie, it'll take a while.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think you should just inflate your players and then try to sell them off. If you can get some UFAs and then just tank before playoffs, you already have a ton of firsts next year. If you can get some more firsts next year, you could clean out the first round. And there's a lot of good regions going. You could have 6 or 7 firsts.
Right, and that's I mean, I think I'm gonna play around with. I mean, I don't love like there's pretty much no skill players here to work off of. It's all like what's left that are decent are all mostly all around wingers. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna try to like use what I've learned in like sort of lineup construction to like make the team a better place for players to kind of develop. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot of incentive to get that working early on here because next, this draft I should pick the top 10 somewhere, and next draft is like kind of an important one for me to just kind of like take full advantage of all these high picks and like move around with the extra picks that I have to get to target the players that I really want, right? So that's kind of like I don't really have a lot of reason to like really try to strengthen this roster too much, and I hate to not do that, but I kind of feel like I won't like if I let them struggle, it won't be for more than a year. I will kind of like solidify them after that.
If I'm being 100% real, we've talked about a few teams with upwards trajectories like Nashville, Vancouver. I think I'm on an upward trajectory. I think St. Louis is worse next year.
I don't know.
Unless you can find a lot of UFAs.
In myself, like just like I mean, we'll see what I can do. I don't know for sure, but I just like feel like there was so little. I mean, this year is just like so like obviously just like Logan wasn't trying to be good. In fact, more often he was trying to be worse than he was. I don't know. I just think I think there's also just like an ethic in me that's just like, okay, let's just put at least the pieces we have back together in a way that makes sense. Where there's like lines that aren't just don't make any sense to me. And maybe that like creates a situation where like a couple of these young players, I can put them up and maybe they like get going in a positive direction. But I mean, yeah, I haven't really fully decided. I'm kind of looking forward to just like the different to like the draft. I have a horse in this race. That's cool.
What a rarity.
Yeah.
Will you be re-signing Co?
No.
For 10 mil?
No. I mean, that's kind of the curiosity I have. It's like, okay, what all the things that I've kind of like picked up while I've been winning, how much do they mean when the players are a lot worse? Can I still like succeed putting some of this stuff to use? I mean, and not that I want to be like really really good or anything. I want to. I think I remember you were doing this when you had the Blues, and before that they were like when you're kind of trying to get them going in the right direction when you took them over, Jordan. Like you just want to get the like morale, have the morale not be just destroying young players, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like my vision of like the direction I need to go in is to get this to be like at least a positive place for players to grow. So, yeah.
My primary concern, I suppose, is that this team, because of the way a lot of the trades were done mid-season, it was just shedding talent mid-season, like a month in, 2 months in, 3 months in. More and more talent went out the door. And if you look at the Blues recently, they've been horrible. In March, they were horrible. In February, they were horrible. Like, if they were on that pace all season, they'd be Calgary level.
Right.
And I have a feeling that's where they end up being next year, unless you can straight work a miracle. You need to work a miracle. I'm curious about their stats, actually, Drew.
So February and March, they were a 34-point team pace for the season, right? Overall, they are let's see, let me find out. They were a 65-point team. Granted, 34 and 65 is a chasm of a difference. I also never said the stats for them. I have them actually as a 12th in offense for shots, 22nd in the defense, but 29th in net minding, where it has cost them, get ready for this number, 16.5 wins.
Well, for what it's
That
worth,
is
McNamara
33 points.
McNamara is terrible. Their backup has an 856. He's even worse. So it's completely fucked.
Toskala or Raycroft. Gotcha.
Yeah, perfect. That's exactly where they are. Which of these complete garbage goalies do you want? Do you want really defective Carey Price or just fucking whoever the fuck Alan Fair is?
Do you want Marashev and Toporowski or Rapin and Cloutier? Do you want McNamara and Olford or Rybakov and Miller?
Yeah, this was a true kind of. I don't think Logan was for sure learning because he made a lot of moves I actually liked. The thing is, a lot of his moves were he made a mistake and then fixed it, but I respect the fuck out of those moves. It was shit like actually shedding Wickstrand and Edvardson. Man, I talked about it on the Eastern podcast. God damn, the Edvardson trade was bad for
Those
Pittsburgh.
are bad trades.
For Pittsburgh, that was horrible.
Well,
the recent one.
Oh.
Yeah. Like shedding these guys. Getting them in the first place was a mistake. Shedding them for actual assets was a big win.
Wickstrand, like I said last night, I thought he was. I couldn't see him paying him 1.5 million on my team when after our first cup, and Logan gave him a long-term $6 million deal.
Yeah.
But anyway,
he'd get rid of him. He got rid of him and got Tippett, Farabee, and a second for Wickstrand and Belanger.
They're all
fringe assets.
Tippett's done. Farabee I re-signed for a year just because I think he's a good vet to have around, and he's still actually pretty decent. And I've had him before, and he's been good. And I'll take the second. I'm just looking at the.
Another trade that we talked about yesterday, but it's worth re-emphasizing here again, was the fact that he sold Newman's for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah,
Newman's is
and Alfano.
Like I said, I was targeting Alfano. I think Logan got hung up on this, and then I made the deal bigger to try to make it work cap wise for me, and I kind of snuck Newman's in there just to see, does he value this guy or does he not? And I'd already tried to get him from Pittsburgh in the past, so and never could. So I just kind of I add him to the deal, and it's Logan didn't even notice. He was clearly not thinking much about the value of Newman's, and I don't know. It in the end, the factor. The final factor of whether we could do this deal or not was whether Logan could get over the floor, figure out a way to get back over the floor after dealing this salary. And it was not there was never any talk of oh, maybe we should do this deal without Newlands. Anyway, I was just holding my breath, being I hope he says yeah.
Well done, you scammed yourself.
Logan probably should have ducked out of the deal.
Oh,
it's getting worse. They're getting worse.
We peaked at Chicago, I think. That was so bad.
So, just the rundown of draft picks over the next 2 years. I have just my first this year. 2 seconds, 3 thirds, 4 fourths, 2 fifths, 3 sixths, and 2 sevenths. And then next year, 4 firsts plus the possibility of another one is conditional with. I'm blanking on somebody. There's somebody who's kind of mid. Is I think maybe it's Chicago. And then 2 seconds, 3 thirds, 2 fourths, 2 fifths, a sixth, and then a seventh. So I don't know. That's 15 picks in each of these next 2 years. So, and a lot of them in the first 3 rounds. So I don't know. I'll just I'm just gonna try to move around and get the guys that I want. So
I really think you have players that are have value too.
I do.
Barbero. Okay, Barbero, for instance, he is a player that a good team could put on the first line and he would take off. He's underperforming by at least 20, 25 points this season.
And Soderlund isn't isn't that different from him.
Yeah, Soderlund looks good as well. I agree.
Yeah,
they're both good complementary players. It's just on St. Louis, who are they complimenting, right? Like,
right.
are you seriously complimenting like low con Rapen? Is that what we're doing?
I think I can get more out of Tyson Forster too. I had him in Colorado. I never could give him much ice time. He was always kind of bottom six and did a good job there. But like I think he could play a bigger role. So that's going to be one of my projects. And Angelo Piper, I guess. I mean, he's 27. He's not that old, but he's a good player.
He's an asset.
Also,
For sure,
Rogo Soderlund is a 30-goal scorer. You know, he scored 31 last season.
Yeah.
Like, he scored 10
I just don't.
one, but.
I feel like I mean, I got the sense that people didn't value him, or otherwise Logan would have traded him. So, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. This was true scorched earth. Like, even players he liked were getting. Like, San Jose did this in the early 2030s, basically, where they were like, fuck this, burn everything, trade everything. We will barely touch the ratio. That's what we're trying to do. Hell, Calgary's doing that shit right now. It can work. It can work, certainly. But it's not the way I like to do it, and it's miserable to play through. So have fun.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think I'm going to enjoy just the contrast of like, you know, just different decisions to make. So yeah,
the Ducks.
Who we got next? The Ducks. Oh, Jordan.
The Quackers.
Yeah.
So I have them as a 28th in offense, 24th in defense, 28th in net.
God damn, this fucking
not very good.
This Western Conference, holy Christ above.
Patrick Potter's pretty solid, you know.
Good old Pietrek. I love Pietrek.
Oh yeah, Patrick.
And Desmond Ramsey really kind of put him in a better position to succeed, I guess.
Yeah, he was great for me. He's been great all season. He's been my first line center. He's really sheltered Potter and allowed my second line to actually be decent. Yeah. I don't know.
What do you like? I think like you were talking about it the other day, and I think it's something that's I've noticed too. Is just like, you know, it's not ideal necessarily to have a great like a very defensive player in your top three lines, like top three centers, but they will attract like it's like giving a line to your coach to just like you know, to just like free up the other lines. I don't know. I think it can work pretty well. You know, and like it's kind of good. It's a good thing to know in your head that, especially in the playoffs, just like that you can use this to your advantage if you plan it out. Yeah.
Yeah, if you feel outmatched by the other team, then you can put a strong defensive line together and play them against in the top, you know, line or second line and see what the coach does.
That was something I did to relative success in my 2 Cup final runs when I had. And Geeky isn't a defensive center, but he's a power center, right?
Right.
Kind of the things kind of like overlap a little bit.
But
but I had him as a matchup line with only like defensive or all around wingers with them, and my head coach matched him up against like every first line they possibly could have.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's like my success with that is like also like throwing some offense in there, but like throwing a winger who can score, but is also like a good checker and like not ending it. None of those lines ended up being like black holes offensively. They were all lines that could go toe to toe with the other team offensively. And I thought that was like a big advantage that I could throw that line out, or my coach would throw that line out, and they basically match up with what the other first line was doing, and then what my second or my like other two top, my other two lines, my other two top three lines were just beating up on the rest of the competition in the meantime. I can't, like that's what I've basically been doing in the playoffs the last 3 years. So, yeah.
Anaheim is interesting. Yeah, I would compare them to me. Honestly, this is a very similar team where I love. defense specs and the wing specs, and you got Pietrek, but it's an upswing. It'll get there.
Patrick Sweden, I don't like. I agree. He is William Nylander. He always looks low in my prospect prospect rankings. I'm like, why isn't he higher? What do you like? What do you think how's his product or his growth been?
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't had none of my prospects aside from maybe Ferreira have really had any success in the NHL, but they're all super young. So.
Yeah, I mean he's a nearly point per game in the AHL in his second year, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I don't know why he maybe it's just sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so Brown is Carlson, and then Landeskog, and then
Ron Carlson.
Then Sorokin, then Saros. So these are all really high PA players, right? So him being fifth isn't really,
Oh, is he fifth for you? Because he's ninth for me.
Yeah, he's ninth for
Sweden's
me. Yeah,
fourth for me.
Really? Huh. Our AGM's
and I have Brown, Almquist, Varinen, Sweden, Kuzmin. That's my top 5 for them.
Interesting. Because I have Brown, the 2 goalies, then Nelson.
Yeah, and Holmrast is above him, Emil Ferreira, who are regens that are more 160 PA at max. So it seems weird that Nylanders would be lower than that. But maybe I don't know. Sometimes they just put these the scouts just don't get it quite right. It's close, but it's just a little off. So it may be just that. But yeah, I mean I like the wingers here. I like the D prospects. I mean, I'm curious to see how Robin Almquist ends up.
Yeah,
he has that PA, but it's these fucking power forwards just suck so much in the it's just
he's
the
got
stick handling and the skating is always so bad.
He's got some ugly mentals for the role. Holy fuck, 4 bravery. What a little fucking baby. What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I picked by kind of BPA. I just
picked
as many high whatever I can pick. I also signed Alexiak and Murray regens, Woodward and Casulo. So it's a one offensive guy and then a bunch of 2-way guys. Some will pan out, some won't, and then I don't really have a center prospect. I mean, Thwaites is down there. He's probably around 140. Something like that.
Yeah, that's where I'm comparing the Ducks and the Wild, really. This is 2 teams with really deep prospect pools, except at center, basically. Which is kind of an issue.
Who's your Patrick Potter level center there, man?
Yeah, I don't have one, but I have better wingers, so it's fine. Yeah, that's the thing. The Ducks are ahead in that, but in a similar boat where these guys got to develop, Varinen and Kuzmin. These are 2 really good prospects at the very least. I don't have any with this.
What's Kuzmin's con? I thought it was low.
One's low.
Okay, so he's
Almquist is also low con.
Super high PA, low con backup is my point.
Ugly. Well, then Varinen can be something because
I think he might be the best. I mean, I'm not really thinking it through, but he may be one of, if not the best goalie prospect out there right now.
Who is he regen of?
Saros.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Oh hey, Grum.
And he's Icon.
Our commissioner has joined us.
There's one goalie that's around the same age that's much more developed. I don't remember which team he's on, but he looks really, really good.
There's some good goalie prospects out there. It depends if you count guys like Murda too, because I think Murda's really good.
But I think Murda is mid-con.
Yeah,
there's a stricken with the con curse. So
mid-con doesn't mean he's gonna be bad though.
No. But I think the mid-con goalies who are good, it's because they have really high PA.
It's your Rybakovs and shit, yeah.
And
Kirkby's mid-con, I think he has a 180, 190 PA.
Yeah. This team, Anaheim is so obviously just one of those teams building and they're on an upswing, and I love Pietrek. Give me Pietrek.
Pietrek.
For what?
I think we discussed this. It's Patrick.
Pietrek.
I've always called him Pietrek. That's what
I
he
don't
is.
know. I mean, it's
That's so
hilarious.
disgusting. But
I
was more of a Patrick myself.
Yeah.
Or partially because of that.
I would love this dude. Yeah, he's quite good.
I think that was more of the like silly Drew phase of being in this league, where you were like just like,
I was tanking.
You were just like trading players on every position for no reason.
I had before I blew it up, I had Crosby, Aho, Cooley as my 1, 2, 3, and I missed the playoffs, and it wasn't terribly close. And that's when I was just like, "Fuck this! This team's never gonna do it."
Yeah, we were talking about it with St. Louis. That's a scorched earth rebuild, and
Right.
they can work because you look at Montreal now, and they're fucking.
I
They're
didn't
fine
keep
now.
almost any one of the picks I had from any of those drafts. Like,
Yeah, but
very
you
few.
use those prospects as chips essentially,
Right.
or the
To
picks
be
as
real,
chips.
Drew is doing a data analytics degree so that he could be better at EHM.
True,
No.
literally true.
I don't disagree.
That's fucking awesome, actually, Drew.
I can't believe this true fact about Drew.
Like the history is over. Like there's nothing left for us to do but just like slowly sink into the ocean. So why not? Why the fuck not? Right?
So is Helmut Zuccarello?
Oh yeah, he is.
Oh, he's Norwegian.
That's why I asked you about him. I've been trying to get home rest for a long time.
Yeah, he's.
But I mean, He's a slow developer for sure.
Yeah. He wasn't. It didn't come about the right way.
You see, you messed this up. You should have shat on Hallmrist so much so that he convinced him that Hallmrist was shit, and then you trade for him. See?
Is Holmgren Zuccarello? No.
No. He's just some Norwegian.
I can't lie. I can't like be duplicitous about regens.
It's kind of
like how stupid would I be? Like, oh, the 5'7" Norwegian winger is not Zuccarello.
Yeah.
But think about it this way: Zuccarello didn't like come to the NHL till he was like 29 or something.
Interesting.
And, yeah.
Was he that old? Wow.
No, he was like 26. I thought.
Was I mean, he was in his late 20s, but like, yeah. I mean, by the time he was actually good, he was like 30 something. Yeah. He went by Mats Zuccarello Austin back then. He had a second name just for fun.
Like a disgusting Norwegian or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Norwegians.
Man, Arizona just let Zuccarello leave for nothing.
Zuccarello's first year was when he was 26 in 2010, 2011.
There you go.
Honestly, Arizona has let a couple guys go for nothing. I saw this is a bit of a throwback. We were talking about Vancouver earlier. And Shinkovich. That's just a guy they let go of for nothing.
Who is?
Daniil Shinkovich. I don't know if he's a region of anything, but this
I
is
have
like
no idea who that is.
He's like
Vancouver picked him up. He was an UFA, like 24, 25-year-old winger, but like he looks like he has like pretty good. He's not amazing, but like based on where he was on
there's better players
Arizona's
in Europe.
prospect list, he has good PA. He has like probably 160, 170 PA. But it may never get there because he's been handled so poorly.
There is a player currently on the Nottingham Panthers that's probably I would rate higher than Shinkovich, and Paterak is
Drake Zink.
Like it could be like attributes wise, Zink destroys.
Zink,
right?
Yeah, he's actually. I almost signed him.
He's been signed and sent back over to Europe a couple times at this point.
Yeah. Like the like you sign guys and then the AGMs or like the ownership, like the board like cancels the deal, right?
That's what they did with Serkins for me. I was supposed to have Serkins.
Right, I remember that. I was trying to sign him too. Yeah, it sucks. So like even half these guys that were signed from Europe, like I bet people had to give them $2 million deals, and like their boards are gonna cancel the deals.
I'm offering to Zinc right now. I actually, you're right. This is a good player.
He's a small little guy, I bet, but like, I mean, he just does not. He has to be top 6, or I don't think he's gonna do well at all.
Oh, I
Yeah.
have so many fucking holes in my top 6. That's so easy. I'll just put him there.
We're on Edmonton. We should move on to Edmonton unless anybody wants to say anything else about Jordan's team.
Don't think so. It's just a builder. It's on the upswing. Tons of prospects. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope to get first overall. That's all I can say.
Me too. I'll fight you to the death for it.
Is there anyone on this podcast not hoping for first overall here?
Yeah,
Does everyone have a chance?
I mean, I don't have a chance.
Right.
Yeah,
I have
LA
a fifth.
doesn't
I have a
have
fifth round pick this year, and that's it.
Yeah, it's Joe and Drew do not have chances.
Wait, Chris has a chance?
Well,
Yeah.
he's St. Louis,
St.
remember?
Louis.
Oh, wait, yeah. Yeah, right, okay. I was like, oh my god, who the fuck did you rip off?
All right, so the Oilers. I have them 26th in offense, 28th in defense,
30th.
and I have them last in net with
Do it.
minus 16.88 wins.
Their starter is Davis Molu. Like,
Yeah.
I wrote about Davis Molu not being NHL caliber for a paper that I got an A on. You know,
You actually made a paper about this fucking guy?
no, it
he's
just
in it.
happened to
He's
show
mentioned
up,
in it, right?
He's mentioned as a goalie who sucks balls. I presume.
Exactly, basically that word, not word for word, but like basically it's like, the
Sorry.
Toronto Maple Leafs would be really good unless if they had an improvement on Davis Molu. That's what I wrote.
Dude, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Davis Molu is getting paid $2 million for 3 more years.
Never had a 900.
Broten Skokolka makes 10.7, so he's a cap floor guy who's like forcing them to lose. Like, look at his save percentage. 8-6.
But like this 3-headed monster, Harrison Gross, is an 858. So
Harrison Gross is the guy that the Shesterkin region is compared to. His
Better
comp is
Gross.
Harrison Gross.
I'm fucking better than Gross.
Well,
Like,
that's gross. It's a gross comp.
we're getting to Alberta, which I like to call tank country because these teams are tanking. They are the one. I think Calgary is our tank commander of the year, but Edmonton's giving them a run for their money.
What
Look at your-
good thing can be said about Edmonton right now?
They have good prospects.
They won a
Ashley
Stanley
is
Cup
good.
before.
Do they?
They did. There's no players left from that team except for like 2 of them. But
Saug and Zilkin. I mean, I guess
Broberg
there's a
was
couple.
Torres. But look at Torres' contract. It's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
Oh man.
No, but it's like it's like a corpse like that, and Chase was like, "I'll trade anyone," and everybody was like, looks over the corpse and there's
Yeah,
nothing
like,
we're
that
pretty
I
good.
want.
I'm sorry. Who anyone? You think I want these guys? No. This team is. This happens to contenders eventually.
I almost
they get to
traded
this
for
point.
Broberg last year, but I got Lambos instead.
Zog. I see someone maybe trading for Zog.
Yeah, so
Yeah, he's a
and-
good complimentary player.
is Marhala. He looks pretty good.
I just looked at some of my advanced analytics, and I started doing some more stuff for their goaltending. And Gross, in his 7 games, has lost them already, almost 4 of those by himself. In the 7 games
Coincidentally,
he
he
played,
has 4 losses.
and he has 5. And
Marhala has the franchise forward for me.
Oh yeah,
Really?
Marhala, I traded him for McDavid.
Oh yeah, he does have franchise for. He has franchise second line talent for me, which
yeah.
is
That's
really
what I was
funny.
saying the other day. Like, I mean, it's a buzz. I don't have.
I have his
him as
franchise.
first
as well.
line. Yeah.
I can't even. I can't see his scouting report.
Yeah,
I have him as franchise with a Peltier comp.
Yes, Palencia. Yep. These 2 guys are assets. These 2 are good wingers, but they have a couple bad contracts. Torres at like $4 million until 2041 is really bad. Davis Molu, dude, $2 million. This guy's getting paid.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I mean, like,
if their goals
yeah.
to be bad, right? If their
I
goal
mean, I
is to
think
get the
I
first
feel
pick.
like somebody should like Chase should be trying harder to actually move these guys. So.
Yeah, specifically those wingers. These are like real complementary assets that function. But
I know
they're
Chase is active
prospects.
too. Like he's probably more of a
Yes.
lurker than he is a active
Yes.
poster, but I know he is active.
Yeah, he's for sure logging into his team.
Right.
I mean, he's a good drafter. He's not had that many picks, and he's kind of hit them all like pretty well. These are all good prospects. They're top like
Tigran
6 or so.
Shabisov is Buchnevich.
Slam dunk.
We have
He
another,
Reese Harris looks pretty good.
we have another
Pardon
fake
me?
French Canadian here.
Yeah.
Jeremy Devereaux from Newark, Delaware.
Reese Harris is who am I? I'm blanking on this one. I know he's a regen.
Marchand?
All-rounder American.
Brad
No,
Marchand.
Marchand. No, Washington has Marchand. Luke Reynolds is Marchand.
Okay.
Marchand. Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember who this guy is. 5'10", right wing. I'll have to look it up. But yeah,
He's good. He's like a
he went
fucking
top
prospect.
10 last year, I think.
Indeed. Well, the top like 15 of the last draft.
Yeah,
were, like,
they were really good.
players.
There
So
was a lot of
up to like Colson Burney, the draft is really good.
He plays for the shitty Huskies.
Oh,
They have real prospects. This team
I'm a
sucks.
Northeastern
and
kid. I have to,
You
cheer
gotta
them
shit on
Hockey
Right.
East slander. Weird.
Furman
Yeah.
Elliott is on his team.
Yes.
Oh.
No. Oh, yeah. He's on UConn. Yeah. Did UConn win a title recently?
I couldn't tell you. Probably.
Yeah,
It doesn't
I don't think
sound.
so.
I don't think they
You
did. that.
you can't see because it's not enhanced that there's no winner.
No.
No, I meant in
In
real
real
life.
life.
I don't think they
Oh,
actually
I-
did.
oh.
I think they were like almost always the bottom of Hockey East, honestly.
Damn.
It's like
That's
almost
right.
always UMass Northeastern as like 1-2. Harvard's usually in there as well.
Oh my God, Filipino. Oh no. I think
What did he
done.
do?
Wait, Filipino's still playing?
Yep.
Yeah, on Edmonton, which is really not saying much. I mean, we really are. This is the dregs. Edmonton
yeah.
and Calgary are the worst two teams in the league, and you can tell why. They flipped all their good assets, and they're just tanking. Which, like, yeah, I
I
mean,
get it.
you're this now.
Calgary has two like actual good players though, Heim and Coronado.
Well, I think Edmonton has two good players also in
Oh,
South
you do?
Ottawa. And like I guess
Okay.
Broberg pretty good too. They don't have anyone on the level of those guys, but they have more guys like that.
Marhala looks really good actually.
Yeah,
Marhala's pretty
Zarg is good depth.
Zog is a good complimentary guy, and Broberg is like a decent
Broberg's
second
solid
pair.
too.
Yeah, Broberg
Yeah.
is a good defenseman. His rating looks ugly.
Cullen
because he's on
Holmes is
Edmonton.
good too. Actually, Cullen Holmes I like probably more.
Yeah, they have assets. Like this is not a completely decrepit team, but these are old assets that are not
Yeah.
going to be good by the time they're good again. This team is.
That's what I say. I just think he needs to do a little bit more work to like move them while they're still worth something.
The easiest way to tank a team is to put a tire in net,
And he's
Yeah.
done that.
and he's done that.
Yup.
And the
Davis
next
Miller.
team that we're going to talk about did it even more, but
This is rock bottom for Edmonton. They will be better, surely, right? Like they
it'd be
can't
hard
do
not
worse.
to, right?
Yeah, they can't keep getting away with this. On the note of teams that can't keep getting away with this,
Are they going to end up with
they gonna-
McDavid regen?
wouldn't it be
Calgary.
Is this the Edmonton Oilers going to burn it to the ground and go up in flames?
Uh huh.
Calgary Flames. All right.
Calgary Flames, who have Alexander Ovechkin as a prospect, and I always forget that till I look at them.
I have
You know,
Calgary as the 27th offense, 30th defense, 24th in net.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, their backups. They every time they play their backups, it's like, okay, I want more losses. Actually, I need more losses. If they ever approach Edmonton in the standings, they're like, "Come here, Eurofeyev, go get an 860 for us. Thank you."
Eurofeyev is by far my worst goaltender I have in the league this year. He's not like Nick Malik bad, but like he's getting close.
he's a dumpster. Like it is straight up. If Lopez is winning too many games, which he's done a good job this year, Lopez has.
Oh yeah.
This guy really seemed like the ideal, like, my team sucks ass goalie for sure. But yeah, Lopez has been good, and when he's too good, here comes Yerofeyev to lose him some more games. Let's be
Sadiq
lastly.
Yerofeyev is Hudobin, I think.
Dobby. All right.
It's not Hudobin.
Pardon? Yeah, he's the Hudobin regen.
Like, there's still good players on this team. Like, I don't think anyone's ever gonna. If he was to offer you like Lorenz Heim for you, like, you're taking him. Like, there's a lot of decent players still on this team. It's just that when they need to tank, they decided to throw Yerofeyev in net, and that's costing them a lot.
Dude, Coronado's nearly a point a game on this fucking team.
Coronado, Heim, and Bourgault Bourgault maybe not so much, but the other two definitely are, solid wingers, right?
They have a line and a pair and a goalie. And other than that, like, theoretically, this team does look better than Edmonton, but Yerofeyev is the legend. He's the god.
The legend, right?
Get us last place in the league. Hell yeah, go get him.
Hey, they have Jared Condon too. Look at that, former Montreal Canadian legend.
Yeah, they picked up a lot of these, like, kind of trash centers on the cheap, like Berard, Condon. Like, they're not trash.
Hey, what do you mean? Adam Berard is really good, guys.
Yeah, for sure. I like Berard, but he's a fringe guy. Like, that's what he is.
Adam Berard is really good. Logan said so. We have to trust him.
You have to believe it. No,
There's a lot of 5s and 6s in his last 15 games.
Hey,
not surprised.
AHL second liner. He's really good, guys.
Hey, give him a break. He's an AHL first liner.
I just did a quick comparison between Allard, because Allard has had all of those red flags and conversations that we have had, and Berard, and it's not close at all.
Like, he played at 10. Had a goal, 2 assists, and 3 points, +1 against Colorado. So he's clearly
against Colorado. Then yeah, I give him my team.
That was they beat me 7-4 in this last sim,
and that was the game that made you put in your resignation and go to St. Louis. For sure.
No. Yeah, it was. I don't know. I mean, I had some injuries, but that was pretty brutal. But it's also like the second game that I lost in the month of March. So,
well, it's your backup goalie game, so that's why Dennis Hamrack.
Hamrack's been in for 2 sims now because Poikinen's a little banged up, but yeah, and I think McTavish was out, and maybe Swamala also left that game. So yeah. It's not. It wasn't our best game to have like 2 centers, and a backup goalie in. But yeah, it'll be okay.
Calgary is probably the most shameless tanker I've seen. Them or honestly, St. Louis did a pretty good job of being a super shameless tanker this year. But Calgary this year has, at least while I've been here, because while I've been here, there have not been too many like excessive tankers. This is dire. This is really this is a true tank. Were
you worried? Someone I was talking to was saying that they thought they weren't going to make the ratio this year.
They looked bad early on, but they're definitely going to make it now.
Yeah, they are.
I thought they would miss ratio. Yeah, that was me. I was thinking dude, Calgary might miss ratio.
At Thanksgiving, it was brutal though. They had 56 goals for and nearly 200 against.
Yeah, they had to actually play Lopez. That's actually what happened. They played Yerofeyev the whole time, and then they were like, "Fuck, he's so bad. We're not going to make ratio."
Yeah, now Yerofeyev's going to be tied to the net like Goldberg for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they're safe. We can put this dumpster player in there. I will say their prospect pool is one of the best in the NHL.
Yeah, Gregory Buffalo is legit.
Maybe the best. I love
and Knight is ahead of him in terms of
Knight is a winger.
Yeah, but Knight sucks though. He's low con.
I like him. I really
low con, but he's gonna be he's huge PA. He's gonna be a good player. I'm not saying he's gonna be a center, but I don't he's got at least 180 PA.
The comp for me is what's his face, Trandafilov.
I mean,
And
it's
that's probably
Couturier.
exactly.
I have
It's
Marushev
Couturier.
as a comp for him, and none of my scouts, and I have 7 scout reports, I think, on him, have picked up the low con. So not to say that he isn't low con, but if he is, it's just
It's hard to know.
Maybe it's like borderline.
Right.
I have one scout saying he's like Trandafilov, and the other 2 saying he's like Slava Yershov.
Okay,
so that's
good.
Malkin regen.
Those are some good. That's Kopitar Malkin. Like, okay.
Right.
Mine says Landon McNeil and Nail Marushev.
I have Marushev as well, and Marushev's still a really good comp.
Kopitar and Malkin, and this guy's Couturier, so makes sense. Huge
This guy
great
will be
centers.
good. Greg Buffalo will be good. Old Gregory Calgary, my guy.
Yeah.
I wanted him so bad. Doherty's good. Their prospect pool is fantastic.
I mean, Vivian Theory is
For a 19-year-old goalie, that looks pretty good.
Pittsburgh's goalie.
Right
now, Tristan Jarry.
Is he Jari? I thought.
No,
DeJong was
Jari is Dallin DeJong.
No, I don't think so. I think it's this
Yeah,
guy.
I thought this guy
Vivian
was Jarry.
Theory.
Who the fuck is
Would be
Dallin
sure.
DeJong?
Yeah, who?
I
is
don't
he
know.
the game
I never
gen?
figured that one out.
Isn't he
Pardon me?
6'4"?
One of them could be a game gen, conceivably.
Yeah.
I thought
You're
DeJong
right.
was Bishop.
Oh.
Is he
No.
6'7"?
I mean, Bishop's 6'7". I think Bishop
Oh.
retired almost immediately
Oh,
in this.
Gibson.
Beat.
Gibson.
So
That's what I mean.
yeah.
No,
No.
Gibson's American.
Yeah, but that's the only guy
Brackett
we
is Gibson, right?
Bracket is Demko, I think.
Bracket's
Right,
Demko.
So the other American goalie that went in the first round last year is Gibson. I'm not.
Dallin is Canadian from Northwest Territories.
Yeah.
What
And
the
how-
fuck?
how
Hell
tall?
yeah. I hope he makes the NHL.
Yellow Knife.
Fucking Northwest Territories.
Oh, he'll
How
make
tall?
it. He'll just be a backup.
True.
Yeah, I don't think he's anything special. I couldn't figure out, like, I couldn't match him with someone. So usually when that happens, it's because like either he's changed nationalities or yeah, it could be still just like a game. Like sometimes it's like they've already cycled through a regen. You know.
Yeah.
It's Ben Bishop's Regen's Regen.
Yeah. It could be. I mean, he's not that tall though, right? Ben Bishop.
No, he's like 6. Dallin is 6'4" and from Northwest Territories. So he's not Gibson or Bishop.
Right.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. There's another goalie that went in the first round last year that was American, and that's the Gibson one.
Brackett is Demko, and the other one was Nick Reed.
Also,
On
isn't Ben Bishop
Ottawa.
American as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Reed is Gibson. He's on Ottawa.
Does
I
that
want
make sense in terms of height? Because Gibson's like 6'2", right?
Yeah, Nick Reed is 6'2".
Okay, that's probably who it is then.
Yeah.
So we just don't know who Dallin is.
Yeah, no.
We'll figure it out when he makes the NHL and gets 900s like Gagan.
But isn't that Jari Locon?
No.
Or no, that guy, Theory.
He's
Yeah,
mid.
Dallin is low con. He's gonna be shit, but
Yeah,
No, but
Theory is mid-con.
Theory
Theory
is
is-
mid.
mid-con. He's the number 1 prospect for me. It's Theory, then Knight, then Buffalo.
Oh,
It's
man.
I got
It's
Knight
Night
Buffalo.
Buffalo Theory for me.
Night Buffalo McMillan Doherty theory for me. Which, like, we're just literally listing off 5 extremely high-end prospects. These guys
Yeah.
are all slam dunks. I love these.
Yeah.
All right, so we did
And I
our
think one
playoff
of-
predictions for the West.
Doherty is somebody too. Somebody good too. Caden Doherty is
Seth Jones. I
like a
think.
high end.
Yeah,
That's Seth Jones. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
So
we doing
they've gotta
the
get some
full
good
playoff
ones.
preview?
I mean, we did it for the West already, so like we can do it quick. Like who we think are gonna win in the East. Right?
Should we separate it? Just stop and call like this is the like trade deadline review and then do the preview.
I don't think
No,
it's gonna take us
we
that long.
regrouped them.
Okay. Go
Did
for
we
it.
do the East playoffs?
No,
We did not. We
No,
No,
forgot.
we're doing it all tonight.
We forgot last
We're
night,
doing
yeah.
it all
Okay.
now.
So
Okay.
Washington, New Jersey / Boston, but probably New Jersey. We take
I think
Washington,
New Jersey.
right?
What? Oh wait, no. You mean to make it? You mean to make it? Okay.
Oh, New Jersey to make it. Yeah, okay.
I thought you
Oh,
said,
you
yeah, I
thought
think you're
New
Jersey.
Jersey-
I was why you were like, what the fuck? Right.
Oh yeah, no. No.
But
Washington's
Washington
my
in
gut
5.
I'm taking Washington in I'll say 5 just because
Be curious.
Bedard, funny, haha.
I actually think that both New Jersey and Boston make it and Carolina misses, honestly.
You think they fall off at fucking hard? That is
6
taking
Yeah.
points in the
They're-
last 6
He wants
games.
to lose. He's going to lose. They want to lose.
How far were he's
6 points. That's
would have
3
to
wins.
Make up.
Boston's 6
Yeah.
points back.
So if Boston would have to effectively
it would
go
be hard.
win out, and Carolina would have to be 500.
In which case, it's
I don't
probably
know.
And
Boston.
Carolina would still win on a tiebreaker. So like Boston would have
there's
to
a
win
lot,
out, and
like,
Carolina
a lot
would
of
be under
changes that
500.
could go there.
Right.
Yeah, who knows? The bottom of the East. is-
Either way, none of these teams could compete with Washington. So
No.
uh,
or
Washington will
Montreal.
win.
So the wild cards are dead.
Montreal versus Columbus or Carolina. I'm taking Montreal because of course.
I'm
Yeah,
taking
I don't
Montreal in
think
4 over whoever.
Montreal versus Columbus, for sure Montreal, yeah.
Rangers, Carolina. I'm taking Rangers.
Oh man, I wish Carolina didn't
Yeah.
load up because then I'd have a cool upset pick. Instead, I'm just gonna pick Rangers in 3.
Right.
Yeah,
the Rangers win a series last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I
beat
think
the
they won
Leafs,
one. In
They
the,
right?
won round 1 and lost round 2.
I mean, this is just like kind of where I think if there's a vulnerable seed, it's this one.
the Rangers got
goaltending,
upset.
right?
The Rangers got upset last year.
Yeah.
Oh, it just crashed on save.
No,
Oh,
it was-
Okay.
Well,
We had a
Boston.
really long one earlier where it actually was fine, but I don't know.
it might.
And well, the last teams we talked
Oh,
about
no
would be
save.
Florida, Detroit.
This is the
It's
best first round series ever. I love this first round series. I gotta take Florida, and I feel really bad for Detroit because
Yeah,
that's so
Detroit versus Florida. I'd take Florida too.
Florida in
I'll
7.
take Florida, but with the caveat that I could, if Rick listened closely to what you were telling him about, how to reorganize his lines last night, he could come out with something, and it could
Do it.
really change his team's fortune. So, listen, Rick. Listen, I think it's a very close series if Detroit just reorganizes their lines a little bit.
Yeah, check out our cool podcast, Rick.
But I guess Ascarov's probably. I mean, they both have such good goalies. So, yeah. I mean, I'll take Detroit just to be
Contrarian.
because I think they have a good chance. So,
I mean,
Yeah.
Dubois is the wild card in that situation. He did it last year. He very conceivably could do it again this year.
The thing is, Askarov is not going to perform like LDP did. That's my perspective, essentially. Askarov is not going to do 880 or whatever the fuck and get completely shelled. That's not going to happen. Who's your cup pick for everyone in this call? Really quick.
Myself.
in the West or in the East, sorry?
Just straight cup winner right now.
Avs.
Like cup finals and then winner. Let's do that.
Finals, I got Avs, Caps, and then Avs win.
Montreal, Colorado. Montreal for obvious reasons.
You fuck it up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
I-
Caps
Caps over who?
over Colorado.
Okay. I'm going to take Caps over Sharks.
Wow.
I feel the Sharks, man. I really do.
Let me see. I gotta think
Are
about
you
this.
good to go, Glenn?
I mean, I'm gonna say Montreal against Colorado, and we beat them again.
Ouch. I would hate myself if that happened.
The Buffalo Bills of GGHL just in the final. Losing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Montreal does have an experience, playoff experience advantage over the two other main contenders for me, which is Washington and Florida. But I don't know. Any of those three teams probably, and Detroit also could make the finals. But yeah, Montreal just. I think Kirkby will turn it around and have a good playoff and they'll be able to get out of the East.
Or I get goalied in the first round again.
Yeah, that could happen too. All right, Jordan, who do you got?
Caps over Colorado.
Okay. Everyone had Colorado at the West except me, huh?
Yeah,
I mean,
No
San
shark
Jose,
strippers.
San Jose can win, but I don't think.
Yeah,
they
it-
can.
it's
I
kind of
think
hard
they
to
beat us.
pick against the 3-time
Against
Stanley
the
Cup.
Avs?
You know, that's the thing.
Could win, but they have like much shittier depth, so they're gonna need like Ottinger to go nuts. But like they definitely could.
Right.
I thought San Jose would give me a hard time in the Western Final last year, and it didn't really happen. They're definitely stronger now, but yeah. I mean, I think that my team's just like playoff experience, like the big games that have been growing for 3 years will just like prevail. So that's what I think will happen.
Did one of you guys in the call do the login as well?
I did.
Yeah, I said you're good to go.
Oh, I didn't hear you. My bad. All right.
And then I just logged in a
If you
second
wanna
ago,
hop
so I
on, it's
crashed it. Sorry.
All right.
All right.
So that's
there's-
that's it, right?
That's the West. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
The West sucks. The East is better.
Was that a 3
That
hour?
was
I'm out.
that was a lot longer with less teams.
Yeah.
I thought I would miss the whole thing, to be honest, and you guys were almost done when I got here an hour late. So
Uh,
I'm out, Grum. You're good.